Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to completely break the game of Stellaris and produce a near infinite amount of resources, have so much scaling and power that the only threat is overflowing your resources so that they become negative? Well, this is now a reality in Stellaris, as this is definitely the most broken build in Stellaris that I have ever played, and it combines a few of the previous builds that I've done into a single, extremely broken video. On this massive size 58 planet, although the size of the planet is irrelevant, you could do this on a size 5 planet, uh, we are producing 31 million tech and a near infinite amount of trade also in the 30 millions, and we can really do anything we need to in the entire galaxy at this point. The way this build works is it uses civilian education and pleasure seekers as the only two mandatory civics in order to produce pop assembly speed and infinite research, and then you can take anything as a last civic, although lubrication tanks does speed up the process a lot. The way this works is pleasure seekers is an interesting civic where your civilians become hedonists, which give you pop assembly speed, and then you can imagine where this is going. The more civilians you have, the more pop assembly speed you have, the more you can assemble pops faster. And in fact, you have to disable your roboticists, or you'll assemble so many pops that you'll quickly run into overflow issues. Take a look at this. We're getting 3,000 pop assembly with just 800 roboticists, and if we go ahead and replace one of these Nexus districts with a heavy industry, and then build a lubrication basin on it, you can see that our assembly is literally an unmanageable number, which will quickly death spiral our economy, and the build will become unplayable very soon. So you got to be really careful when playing with this build, but essentially you can get to this point in any way you want. The other cool factor that I've added into this build from previous versions is if you play it with psionics, right, you get the added bonus of as many telepaths as you could possibly ask for. Here we have 483,000 telepaths now, which is just a completely bonkers number. And watch the rest of the video if you want to see how I got here, and the absolute full playthrough and every click that I did to make this build happen. Do keep in mind that I went in a really roundabout way. If you want to do it easily, I'll have a link in the video document or in the description that will document how you can very easily get to this point, and the video for that as well, and also the harder way, which is what I've done here. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Hello everybody, and welcome to another Stellaris video. Today I'm really excited to share with you a very, very fun build. So, in the past, I've gone infinite with psionic scaling, and I've gone infinite with lubrication tank scaling in combination with civilian education, and I don't know why I only thought of this now, but why not try to combine them? This is going to be one of the last patches where this is possible at all, as in the beta, it's already going to be nerfed, so I want to get this out quickly before this is all gone. And essentially what they're doing is they're removing the telepaths per pop, so combining a very high pop count, and telepaths will no longer give very huge benefits. And the way I want to play this is with this build here. So if we go ahead and take a look at our species traits, I'll just show them quickly there, and then our civics, lubrication tanks, and civilian education. Essentially, the idea here is we want to assemble a lot of pops, have them work as civilians, which will produce us tech, and then try to go infinite with that. Now, this build does have some issues. In its current form, it will produce very little unity, and if I do a unity rush build, it will produce very little tech. So we're kind of stuck in a unfortunate situation there. However, we're going to try to make this work anyway, as I think it should just be pretty fun. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started here. And one thing I want to disclose is that we are playing with the Deneb system and the Origin Here Be Dragons. This is a greedy build that tries to make the largest possible planet. However, it is RNG dependent. If you want to play a completely RNG free variant of this build that is viable in, say, Iron Man mode, where you don't really have the option to get unlucky, you can go ahead and start with something like subaquatic machines for the size 30 ocean world. However, we're going to be playing with this, and if we never get the event to get the Astro Creator, which is what we're going to be using in this build, we'll spawn it in at the time where we need it. It has a 1% chance flat of spawning every year, or no, every 5 years, meaning you could easily have to wait hundreds of years for it, but it technically is guaranteed even for a Iron Man Empire if you're happy to wait long enough, as it cannot go to an AI. One thing you may have noticed is we have started with 0 AI empires in our system, and we even turned pre-FTLs off in our other settings, and this is just to guarantee that no matter what happens, we're going to get access to the cloud stance anomaly, and the cloud stance anomaly is what we use to ultimately create this super large planet. And the other thing I haven't really thought of yet is how I want to manage our basic economy. As you can see, it already starts off really rough. So I guess we'll work this through as we go. I guess it's definitely gonna be something to do with civilians. So probably a mercantile build. We obviously have to go consumer goods focused with this starting economy. Um, so yeah, anyhow, let's just go ahead and get started. I think I'm gonna try to record more of this than I normally do, just to kind of show all the actions I'm trying to do as I scale. I'm not going to be playing too accurately either. I'm not going to be like super try-harding anything at all. I'm just going to be playing the game, and whatever happens, happens in a lot of senses. So, yeah, don't kind of like think too hard about like copying it exactly, because it's not optimal at all, the actions I'm going to be taking, as it's not as thought through as a lot of the builds I would normally do. Simply because we're going to be playing on fast. I would probably normally play on fastest in this situation, but we're not going to do that, because if I try to play on fastest and talk at the same time, that could be an absolute catastrophe. And I also don't really know what to talk about throughout this video, so I guess I'll just kind of go with whatever my ADHD mind thinks of. And yeah, I guess I just want to talk about like what are people enjoying these days? What are people playing in Stellaris? I'm really enjoying it, despite the fact that I would say as of recently, and since 4.0 in general, Stellaris has not been very balanced, and at least me personally, um, I've completely given up on the competitive Stellaris scene, which, from what I understand, is still like cared about and played, except for me at least. Yeah, the absolutely ridiculous balance thrashing that exists, and um, how non-linear the meta is definitely a problem in my opinion. What I mean by this is somebody who ascends scales in power so much faster than somebody who doesn't, that Ascension Rush is essentially the only way to play the game, and you have to Ascension Rush, otherwise you fall very far behind. But then the thing is, whoever ascends, like, let's say you ascend year 20 instead of year 17, right? You've basically played the game for 30% less than the guy who ascended only 3 years earlier. And 3 years is a lot, right? But that kind of thing can happen. Um, I think the other big one is pre-teaming has clearly become the absolute best way to play Stellaris, which, while understandable in the sense that it was always kind of like that, if you work together, have a trade player supporting the military players and that kind of thing, you're always going to do better than a guy playing individualistically. However, it is not my favorite way to play. And has definitely ruined it a little bit for me. So yeah, overall, not a huge deal, right? Like, I would still consider playing in a tournament or something like that if the meta ever changes, or I find pre-teams to be a part of and want to invest time into becoming competitively good at the game again. I would say I'm definitely at a casual level. I'm a decent player, right? However, definitely not the best when it comes to competitive these days, as hitting those timings is really important, and even if I'm only like 10% behind on every timing, those compound out to mean a lot. And another classic example of this is basic resource worlds, is they're non-linearly effective, meaning a tiny difference in when you get your resource worlds online makes a huge difference in how effective they are, because the support districts multiply the job efficiency, and having more jobs is then multiplied by the efficiency of the support zones, which is a positive feedback loop that runs away really quickly. And then there's a lot of positive feedback loops in the game that run away really quickly, right? Like a pop assembly from lubrication tanks is another one of them, right? When you combine it with pleasure seekers, which we're going to add at some point, where is that funny little civic? Um, it's a really funny one because you can add it in later in the game, which is really weird, to be honest. But that's another non-linear source of scaling, right? You have pleasure seekers, and all of a sudden, your pop assembly is not just going up for per assembly plant. Every pop you assemble then feeds back into how fast that assembly plant is, and all of a sudden you're producing literally tens of thousands, if not millions of pops per second. Yes, in testing I accidentally overflowed my pop assembly number and had to restart my testing, which is genuinely both kind of hilarious, but also just shows how broken the game is in a lot of ways, and definitely could be better. So what am I going to take here? Is we want to take things that are viable late game scaling and things that will speed up our Unity, and transcendent learning. The reason we want transcendent learning is why are we down to 32 Unity? Maybe I should not have gotten rid of that archive zone, as that was apparently a big chunk of our Unity. But the State Academy will give me some Unity, right? And I could probably dedicate one of these worlds to temples or something. Um, as we definitely also need that commercial zone just to keep our trade value up, and our trade value is then feeding into our consumer goods, which is one of the nice feedback loops of civilian education in the first place, which is something that's quite nice. We're going to build another state academy as well for the extra tech. And the reason I also want to push tech relatively hard early is there's just a lot of useful techs in the game, and whenever you play with low tech, it feels a little miserable, even if you get your Ascension off rush off good, well, right? So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and yeah, we'll definitely award world focus on Unity, but building temples feels so silly in the big 25 when I could be using trade, but I really need this trade for consumer goods, so it is what it is. Anyhow, you might have also noticed that this planet is running with the lubrication tank civic, which also means we're getting really, really decent pop assembly. 12 is not bad, and it'll definitely be enough for us to run a civilian-based economy in the early game, although yeah, the tech scaling will be slow like this, right? We're going to need to build more city districts, but we also need to wait for the pop count to keep up, otherwise the amenities will drop, because most of the amenities come from the civilians themselves. So yeah, a bunch of funny feedback loops going on over here. Um, yeah, anyhow, yeah, I think I really need to start to save up for a colony at this point. We still only have one science ship too. I should set this to auto survey also. Oh yeah, one of the big reasons I'm looking for tech is for auto surveying purposes, right? We're actually going to open discovery here, and we're going to take boldly go and then open with statecraft. In case you guys aren't aware, I would say statecraft is one of the strongest possible civics in the game, or not civics, traditions. Uh, and the reason for that is the speed that your counselors level up is, you guessed it, also nonlinear. As your counselors level up, that causes the agenda speed to level up, right? And then when you have faster agenda speed, that gives you more leader XP, which causes the agenda speed to be even faster. So, yeah, like once again, more of these positive nonlinear feedback loops that cause the game to go really, really fast. And I find that after year 30 to 40, there are basically no close fights in Stellaris anymore, at least in multiplayer. It's one of the reasons why games got a lot shorter. And also, I don't see many people try to play to like year 100 the way people used to, because you can't like be outscaled and catch up when somebody has, gone too wide or something like that. No, you just kind of lose. Like, you just get outscaled and it runs away. It never gets closer. It gets less and less close as the game goes on, which is kind of fine in a sense because it saves you time. Like, the game is shorter, saves you time. But I think it's also a little bit unfortunate that I don't think I've had a close fight in Stellaris in a long time. It's usually really one way. Like, I've had some funny ones. I remember there's one player playing Subterranean, and I was trying to invade them for like 60 years, and I believe that, no, that was in 3.14. So, no, that wasn't Stellaris 4.0. Um, yeah. Anyhow, yeah, the like fail like I can't remember. I really can't remember the last time I had a close fight. And please let me know in the comments, guys. Have you had any close fights or anything like that in multiplayer? I somewhat doubt it. It's a bit of a, at least there's like the casual multiplayer lobbies, right? Which are, I would say, somebody will outscale everybody else to an absolutely insane extent, and it's okay, but everybody else kind of loses, right? And then there's the competitive lobbies, which are actually decently close. And the reason they're actually decently close, by the way, I completely forgot to turn on the map to stars. Let's go ahead and do that now. Um, and then there's the competitive lobbies, which are actually kind of close, but in exchange, the rule sheet is so long, it's completely unrelatable to single player anymore because there's like 10 banned origins, there's like 10 banned civics, some are permanent, some aren't. Um, and you can't do this and this, and you can't take this Ascension perk under this condition, and all of that is fine and dandy for keeping the game balanced. But as somebody who wants to make things that are entertaining for the average Stellaris player and are just kind of cool in general as well, it's really hard to stay within the multiplayer rules that I would say less than 5% of all Stellaris players, and honestly, even less than that, probably actually care, right? Like, I would love to know how many of you guys and the viewers actually watch or play competitive Stellaris. I'd reckon it's higher than normal because I am a meta focused channel in general. Um, but I'd say it's overall still quite low. Um, and that's just my guess. I could be completely wrong. A lot of you guys might be interested in PvP meta content, but yeah, I guess right now is just not the best time for PvP meta in general, especially since it is so volatile and changes so often. Um, Also, yeah, the winners of tournaments I haven't specifically watched the last couple Montu tournaments, but if I were to levy a guess, it's just the bigger team which played slightly better won. Um, and if you're individual, maybe you have a chance of top fiving, but you really don't have a chance of winning, which I think is not really how the game used to work. So, yeah, a little unfortunate there. And yeah, I guess this planet could be dedicated to just like pop growth and and unity because our unity sucks. And yeah, in the meantime, just could we support another state academy? It'd be sketchy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build the state academy, all right, and then we'll toggle it on and off depending on if we feel like we can actually keep it running or not, right? And I think we need to stop with the pop assembly now as well, or not the pop assembly. I don't want to stop with the pop assembly. I need to stop with the city districts, as if I build any more, I think this planet is going to start to lose some stability, and we need that stability for the output of our lovely civilians there. And yeah, with the non-zero amount of tech we're producing, right? We're not producing much tech, I have to say, but it's not zero, right? So with the amount of tech we do have, I think it'll still allow us to find the third civic at some point and put in the hedonists or the pleasure seekers or whatever they're called. And then at that point, you just give up on your stability, but you get crazy pop assembly, so it's kind of worth. Also, this will let us, in not the most time, find a Ecumenopolis tech, because last time I got Ecumenopolis about like year 60 or 70, right? It's cool, but it's just not practical. I think it's just too late in the game. So we're going to try to find it a bit earlier here in this video. And yeah, also it looks like we need to take more of these systems here, but more science ships will help. And let's just take a look at the anomalies we have found. Once in testing, I found a cloud stance anomaly like right next to my capital, which was amazing. But that has not happened ever since. And I didn't even end up releasing that video because it didn't turn out well due to various other things. And hopefully I get better at that. As I'd say currently, each one of my videos takes quite a long time to record. Like, I'm talking, like, I gotta test the build for like 2-3 hours, then I gotta do like an attempt and something goes wrong, or I mess things up, or I just like lose interest in the middle because of XYZ reason, and then I do another attempt. And overall, I would say like 6-7 hours at least of solid effort for a video, if not 10. And I think that's fine. Like, but as somebody where like this isn't my job yet, I would love it to be. Uh, it's a lot of effort. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully that gets easier in the future. And if not, that's okay. I also want to release high effort content, and like I haven't really gotten to editing yet, right? Like, so I'm really curious how people would like to see like more curated, more edited, and more like distilled content where perhaps I film an entire playthrough and then I just do voiceover over the important bits, or maybe uh, like just do better jump cuts or something like that. I have no idea. Um, I'm also just really curious, like, what part of these videos do you guys enjoy most? Do you guys enjoy the meta focused aspect, or do you guys enjoy the just like general builds as you're looking for build inspiration? I would say, at least for me, the reason why I like Stellaris in the first place is simply build inspirations, because I think that it's such a unique and cool part of the game. And like at the beginning, right, I just liked to cosplay as space cat girls because I thought that was just hilarious. The idea of like some like squishy, funny like cat girls running around the galaxy and becoming the most powerful intergalactic empire was just so hilarious to me that like that kept me entertained for dozens and dozens of games, more games than definitely more than dozens, probably hundreds. Like I'm really silly like that. Um, but yeah, obviously that uh, is only so funny for so long, right? Like, and I think it only like it's probably not even enough to keep the audience entertained at all, right? So we're just doing more cool build ideas, and there are also so many builds in Stellaris that I don't know, like if you could do this forever, or you would run out at some point, right? Like, because a lot of builds do filter down. Oh, why am I finishing the discovery tree? I don't want to finish the discovery tree. I want to start statecraft. Um, a lot of builds do feel the same at some point, right? Almost all Unity Rush builds really feel the same. Unity Rush, Ascend, yet they all still play really differently, right? So I think they're all still worth covering, but probably not in full feature-length films. This will probably be my longest video on my channel. Also, if I continue it in this style, and it's also pretty chill because I haven't made like a full commentary video for quite a long while here. So uh, yeah, I look forward to it and just see. Also, seeing if can I yap for like a full 3 hours. I don't know. I used to do this all the time, but for not Stellaris but different games. So hey, who knows? Maybe we can still keep it up. Maybe not. And yeah, I also don't want to run out of stuff to talk about and for it to get like awkward or something. But I think we should be okay there, to be honest. Um, yeah, I also like I've always kind of wondered like so really good YouTubers, of course, they bring a lot of their personal life into their videos. It's not just informational, right? Because like what I'm saying now is purely informational, and most of the videos I made on my channel are also purely informational because I think that is probably the aspect of my channel so far that I've done the best, which I'm slightly proud of, but also I'm like curious how sustainable it is. First of all, because I'm not the best Stellaris player, far from it. I don't remember what events do. I don't know the lore, and I really don't know all the inner mechanics until I randomly discover them, either via other better players than myself or other random facets that I just happen to stumble upon. Right, so I'm not the best meta player in the world, so I'm a bit like concerned. I guess not concerned, but like I could see a world where I would quickly run out of content, and I would like to. I really want to. I'm interested in like taking this a little bit more seriously now and just trying to make more. Right. So yeah. Anyhow, I also don't really know how to bring like real life and like funniness into the videos in as good of a way as other people do. So I guess we'll just have to work on it, right? Um, yeah, like other people, I see a lot of videos with a lot of great memes and jokes mixed in, and I would love to be like that. I just don't really know how to do that yet. So, uh, anyhow, let's go back to the build here for a second. We're going along nicely here with statecraft. I'm wondering if I should go faster than this, but if I go fast, like take a look at this. My computer is crazy fast, so if we go fastest, like things go by so fast, I personally can't respond in time. I'm curious how fast you guys like to play on. Yeah, one funny thing about the way I play Stellaris is, first of all, I really only play early games. And one of the reasons for that is what we really need to colonize a planet. One energy district? What about this planet? Five. Okay, you can double as an energy planet because, yeah, I think this energy situation is going to become quickly unsustainable. So we'll need to deal with that. We probably need to stop buying five alloys too. Yeah, this basic economy is one of the most dire I've ever seen. They have nerfed the civilian economy pretty hard, I do have to say. It doesn't really sustain itself anymore, which I would say is a good thing, but it also makes it quite a bit weaker as you can see it's not scaling the fastest. And now, you know what I'm surprised by is our unity is actually pretty good, and I reckon that's because our factions are pretty big. If I go into our government here and take a look at our factions, yeah, our factions are producing a crazy amount of unity. Um, yeah, that's a funny thing, right? The way factions produce unity, I would say it's one of the reasons why necrophages got so weak. If anybody used to play necrophages back in the day. Like I used to play necrophages long in like Stellaris 2. Maybe not 2.x, but when did I start? I started before Astral Planes came out, so whenever that is. Um, and when I started, Techno Necro was considered a decent build, although at that point in time it was already kind of fallen off. It wasn't as strong as like uh, Rogue Server, Prosperous Unification, or some really famous builds, Progenitor Hive, for example. Like those are like long, irrelevant builds, I would say. Or not irrelevant because they're still strong if you play them in like a casual lobby or something like that, but super weak compared to modernized builds, right? And that's the era in which I started playing Stellaris. Uh, and what's the point I'm trying to make? Oh, I thought that was Halito for a second. Um, and yeah, oh yeah, Techno Necro was good. So what ended up happening with necrophages is they ended up updating the way Unity works, and now when you get Unity from factions, it scales from your pop political power, and a couple other things. And like Utopian Abundance was made to be like really overpowered to the point where I think it's been nerfed like at least once since then, and you can't use Utopian Abundance on necrophages because you have a bunch of species that need to be enslaved, and you need xenophobes, so you can actually use the necropurge. And if you play egalitarian necrophages, now you're just giving yourself a really big problem with having too many prepatent species and not enough of your home species, because you need to necrophage something. Otherwise, you run out of uh like you run out of the necrophages that can actually your actual necrophage species instead of your prepatent species, which can actually work every single job type, which is something that you need. I would say that's improved quite a bit now, because I don't know if it's intentional or not, but nowadays you get dual pop growth, so both your necrophage species and your prepatent species grow at the same time. I don't know if that's intentional, so that's kind of resolved now, but it still hasn't resolved the pops not having enough political power to produce unity with factions, which means you need to manually produce unity, and necrophages don't really make the best trade builds because you can't be xenophile at all, and not only can you not be xenophile, um, yeah, just what you want to do, like invading and conquering, just not that synergistic with xenophiles, right? So, yeah, with necrophages, they just kind of, like, I love them. They're where I started playing Stellaris, but they're pretty weak. And also, speaking of like how I started playing Stellaris, and I mentioned earlier that I only like to play early games. That's also related to a funny story. And yeah, basically what happened is when I started playing Stellaris, I was playing on an Intel 13700K. If you're not into technology, you might not know much about this CPU, but what I can tell you is it was recalled due to faultiness in its design and faster than expected um, failure. Basically, there was like some problems with corrosion or something. I never really like understood exactly what the problem was, but like the voltage control wasn't good, and there was like some corrosion issues. And what ended up happening is I was playing Stellaris at the time, and What had just happened is a new DLC had come out, the Astral Planes DLC, which was probably on release the least stable Stellaris DLC, maybe of all time. So when I kept crashing, I just assumed that it was Stellaris crashing and my computer was fine, and at that time I played no other intense games, so I had no idea that it was actually my CPU that was the problem. That I only found out once the official recall was announced, long after my CPU had already started experiencing problems. And, just by happenstance, could not really tell you exactly why, just by luck, every single game I'd make it to probably about year 50, maybe 60, and then I would start crashing. And once I would start crashing, I would never stop crashing. And it would get more and more frequent until I could not play the game at all. I'd have to restart my game maybe every 3 years, which, as you can imagine, just is not playable. I'd rage quit. Um, so I kind of just got used to playing just the first 60 years of Stellaris, and that was the game. Like, if I was in a winning position after 60 years, I'd just call it a win. And as a result, I actually never ended up defeating the Crisis after maybe my first few runs of Stellaris until very recently, where I was like, hey, what if I played that good old late game thing again? And yeah, it's definitely pretty fun, I would say, playing it into the late game, but it also is a little repetitive in the sense that in a lot of ways you really don't need to play into the late game of Stellaris. It is too easy to outscale the AIs these days, I would say. I don't know how you could fix this. The way I would personally go about it is I would just ramp the cheating factor of the AI by crazy amounts into the late game. When you play a Grand Admiral AI, it has a really interesting difficulty curve. The way I would describe it is Grand Admiral AI start off much stronger than you. Maybe like 5 times, 10 times. I don't know. Like, the amount of resources they have is completely overwhelming. If you've ever seen a Grand Admiral AI colonize a system near you, or just take a system near you, and you watch the amount they're producing just go to the sky, it's pretty crazy, right? Like, it's like, oh, like I don't produce that much, and you can't really fight them in the early game unless you're playing something really cheesy like bioships, right? Like, bioships are so overpowered, you can literally run maulers with anglers and go take over Grand Admiral AI at, like, I don't know, year 15 or something, year 10. Um, but if you're playing anything fair, right, like with regular bioships or something like that, there's just no way you can take over an AI, I would say, within like the first 15 to 20 years of the game. I would say then, between year 20 to 30, some of the stronger builds, played by some of the better players, will then start to outscale some of the weaker Grand Admiral AI, and by year 30, most human players who know to Ascension Rush will start to outscale most AIs. Not all the AIs will be outscaled yet, but give it 5 years, and then essentially the AI fleets are fodder because they have terrible designs, and they don't know how to coordinate their planets and min-max their resources enough to keep up with human player bonuses. Even I don't know what they're making 3 times, 5 times, 2 times, 1 time, 1.5 times. I have no idea how many times more resources they get than the player, but it's not enough. And the player will outscale the AI, and um, by like year 100, it's so not close. Like, there's some AIs that have 30k fleet at say year 30, and they have 70k fleet by like year 60. That is like unheard of for a human. If a human has 20k fleet at year 30, they're gonna have like 500k by like year 60, because the scaling in this game, as I mentioned previously, is just so non-linear. You're gonna so quickly become overpowered as you ascend. You now have more pops. Those pops are more efficient, so it's a runaway factor. You're producing pops twice as quickly, and those pops are twice as efficient. You're getting 4 times stronger per time that passes than you previously were. But it's not even that. Think about this for a second. Let's say I need 1 pop to create minerals, and that minerals produces enough for 2 pops to make alloys. That means I have kind of like an upkeep ratio of like 50%, right? Like, I have an overhead of 50%. But as my empire gets more efficient, and let's say one miner job can upkeep 5 catalyst, 10 catalyst jobs or alloy jobs, you can see how this is another source of nonlinearity, as that is for every job type of my empire, I need less pops to work upkeep so they can work the next tier of jobs, which produces more resources. And since now there's also more pops, and more, you get like exponentially more resources as your pops get more efficient. There's so many of these kind of like circular, one thing feeds into another, which makes it more efficient. Things that are going on Stellaris nowadays that like the late game efficiency of like human empires is genuinely so ridiculous. I don't know how any AI could possibly keep up with the regular Grand Admiral scaling bonuses. And if I were making the game and I wanted to make it a challenge for more experienced players, and first of all, I don't think that should be a priority because there's so few of us who play like me and like to min max. Like I'm playing on fast, which might as well be glacial, right? And then fast is too fast. Please give us variable time controls. But also, yeah, this Unity is just way better than I thought. I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed. And now I lost my train of thought again. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, yeah, if I was trying to balance the Grand Admiral AIs, I think what I would do is simply just give them a ramping percentage scaling bonus to all their resources that continuously scales throughout the game. Like it starts at slightly below where Grand Admiral is now, so it would be cool if you could actually fight them in the early game with the right hyper specific militarized builds, and then scales way past where they are up to like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1000% of the bonuses. I would like to see Grand Admiral AIs with million fleet power at your 100 type of things that you need to play genuinely good builds to keep up with um, in regular Stellaris. And I do also have to say that the Grand Admirals also grief themselves with terrible builds. But like I think that's a part of the game, right? It is fun to see the way different builds perform and that kind of thing. So it makes sense if sometimes the Grand Admirals aren't playing the strongest builds and then they aren't the strongest empires. I think that's fine. One thing that was pretty interesting is there was a point in time where I was running Grand Admiral AIs, and what I had them doing is I was having them playing trade builds. And the reason I was doing that is, in case you don't know, trade builds benefit an insane amount from having a commercial forum um, with two specific civics on them, and the two specific civics are there's three of them actually. My bad. Let me try to find them because otherwise I won't remember what they're called. Yeah, trading post is one of them. Uh, it's every single civic that gives you a commercial forum boost. Is free traders one of them? No, it's not. Franchising gives commercial forum generates additional trade. Yeah, so I guess commercial franchising is one of them. And then there's one more. You can find it if you just scroll through all these. I'm not gonna find it manually, right? And basically, those also cause nonlinear scaling for traders, right? They make your traders more efficient, and also then the megacorp gets the trade, and then the megacorp can then create a trade pact with you, and it's like a really stupid feedback loop as well. I'm not sure if it still works exactly like that, but the commercial forums is definitely really overpowered, and I wanted to get that when I was playing trade builds to show off some min-maxed trade builds for a video, right? So what I found is when I put two of them in the galaxy, they would always make a trade fed, and then they would always make a commercial pact with each other, and then they would have this like feedback efficiency loop, and they would have by far the strongest builds in my entire galaxy, which was really funny. And if I played some shit build or just like less meta build, I couldn't keep up with them at all. Like if I tried to play necrophages into that, I would just get completely like I would never be able to outscale them, which was quite funny. Or I wouldn't never be able to outscale them. It would just take astronomically longer time. It'd be like year 890 to 100 instead of like the normal year 50 to 60, where almost any kind of Ascension Rush build can start to outscale. Also, I haven't checked for Cloud Stance yet. It doesn't appear to be there. Oh, Oh yeah, I don't see a cloud stance. Let me scroll a little slower just to check for sure. Nope, no cloud stance yet. I wonder if I can hire more scientists. I think I can. Um, yeah, our economy, by the way, is terrible. This consumer goods situation is definitely going to be a problem soon. So we're gonna have to deal with that. I think another thing we're gonna have to deal with is we're gonna need another generator support, another generator zone, just to keep that balanced. And yeah, I'm super pleasantly surprised by this unity. It must be the factions. This is why I love spiritualists, by the way. I have like the easiest to satisfy faction. Like everybody's happy. This is amazing. Let me promote this faction because why not? Um, yeah, so we're just farming unity from factions. We have the tiniest amount of tech from civilian education. Yeah, this probably wasn't the best way to produce tech, but you know, at least we're stacking civilians, and civilians are funny, right? So yeah, one thing we can do in case we get low on consumer goods is just disable one of these for a while and then build up a little treasure trove. And well, that barely affects our tech as well, right? So it's actually fine. One thing I should do also is I should just go a little bit wider and take like this Gaia world and this ocean world there, just giving me more sources of pop growth. But I honestly don't want to go wide. I hate managing many planets. But given that we are playing on a video that is going pretty slow in the first place, it could be a good idea, and probably would be a good idea if I was um, trying to min-max more. But yeah, also just remember to restart all your science ships as they collide with random hostiles and then become unable to move. One of the more annoying things about auto surveying is just make them find another target to auto survey afterwards. Like, come on. And yeah, I guess the solution to this would be focusing on finding cloaking, right? I might have rolled over it once already, um, given how absent-minded I am. But yeah, you probably anyone who watches the full videos that I make. First of all, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching the full videos. Uh, I really love to see it. But yeah, essentially what I wanted to say is you probably noticed that I randomly cut myself off and then forget what I had been saying. And the reason I do that is just because of ADHD issues, right? Like it's literally the way I'm thinking. Like I'm thinking about something, and then suddenly something comes up, and that is the only thing that my brain thinks about. And it takes, I would say, a decent amount of conscious effort for me to not do that. It is possible for me to not do that, just it takes, I would guess, more conscious effort to do that than it takes other people, which is fine, right? That's not a big deal. But yeah, I should try to be more careful about that because it is probably pretty jarring if you're not used to it. So yeah, I do apologize for that. So yeah, anyways, thanks for everyone who's sticking around through all that funny stuff. Yeah, I really haven't made like a full gameplay for a while, and as you can see, we're also really struggling with the attempt here to find an early cloud stance, but you know what? It's a small galaxy. We'll find it at some point, and once we find cloaking, it should go a little bit faster as well. Let's also see if we have the capacity for another leader. Yeah, we do. We could have had two more surveying ships going already, but silly me, I didn't do that. So we'll start it now, and hopefully it's not too late. Also, let's go ahead and try to get this because that's some trade there, right? And I want more trade. Also, let's re-enable this now. We have more than enough consumer goods. And my tech is really sad already, so getting more tech would make me slightly less sad, I think. I wonder if it's worth building like a holo theater and then trying to push more city districts here, but kind of no matter what you do, at some point the amenities are going to do a negative runaway, and then you need stability from another source. And I will say, when you're playing something like Gestalt, it's not too bad because you can use the minor artifact edict to overcome almost any amount of negative amenities. But you can't do that with regular empires. The only way you can overcome it is with soldier jobs. And also with more soldier jobs than we're realistically going to have, which is definitely pretty annoying. And I think, does Pleasure Seekers like reduce happiness too? I think it also does. So that's like stacking source of unhappiness. Right. Hedonists, which do not produce amenities. So yeah, we're gonna lose another chunk of amenities once we switch to hedonists. We're currently getting 5,000 from civilians, and that will be reduced too. So yeah, definitely some upcoming problems for us to think about there economically. I also don't know why I chose such an AFK build for me to do a full video on. I have no idea why. Yeah, this would probably be much more useful, and like you could learn a lot more if I was playing a less AFK build, but I'm sure there are still useful tips here. Like, but then again, I've also not been doing anything that useful. Like, I haven't even found a trade focus leader for my capital. I'm probably still an isolationist instead of mercantile or something like that. Yeah, I don't have merchant kills, right? I can't go mercantile. Never mind. So we're actually not doing too bad. Okay, I'm not too angry at myself then. One thing that is definitely going on now is my basic resource economy is really good, and I just don't have enough tech. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna colonize a couple of these worlds here, and then we're gonna use the resources we get, or not the resources we get, the people we get to move them over to my capital so they can feed that civilian education. I definitely wouldn't say civilian education is the meta these days. 117 consumer goods for 180 tech is not a fantastic ratio, and even our pretty hefty trade numbers are, I guess they're not hefty, they're just mediocre. But even our mediocre trade numbers are not enough to supply that amount of consumer goods, which is definitely a little bit concerning. I guess I could build something like commercial zones, and that would help a little bit. So I guess let's go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, here we have to click a few criminals are of no concern, which kind of sucks as well, because we got some criminals from having too much unemployment. I guess I should have done that stepwise. I should have done it a little bit at a time. But yeah, I guess adding those civilians to our economy definitely helped a little bit actually, because that boosted our tech up by 100, and it boosted the amenities on this planet up to a very manageable amount. So we're definitely not going to be going pleasure seekers anytime soon. This will build a commercial zone, and yeah, this is the problem now, is the consumer goods. Um, yeah, the only way we can get more consumer goods is by having better trade, right? So yeah, this was probably the wrong way to do this build, but I guess we could just brute force some consumer goods out. Um, Maybe I should do a consumer goods world. I don't know. I think it would never be as useful as a trade world, right? So if I do a consumer goods world, just do a trade world. Why are we up to +0 consumer goods now? I don't know. Let's go at open markets. Why am I taking open markets? Let's take something else. Chart the unknown. Why haven't I done this? That makes me scan faster. Um, Wait, well, ooh, heritage site. That's good. That will finally boost our unity up to the sky. It's right. That's why civilian builds are so much weaker now. I completely forgot. Oh yeah, guys, if you want to play meta, just let it be known. Play memorialist. It's super broken right now. Anyhow, how am I gonna balance this? I think yeah. Apparently, if we can buy 50 consumer goods at all times, this will just about sustain itself. And I think 350 tech is just also about the number of tech, which would be pretty difficult to make if we're just playing with a regular tech world at this point. But yeah, what am I going to do about those consumer goods, right? Because if I add more consumer goods districts here, we're going to be in trouble. Um, in the sense that we'll also lose a bunch of amenities, which will make our pops less efficient, which is a negative feedback loop, which we've talked a lot about feedback loops today, so hopefully we know to avoid those. So instead, let's just go ahead and colonize some of these planets and turn one of them into a consumer goods world. Looks like we have a decent chunk of minerals as well. I should probably be trying to exploit space for minerals a little better than I have been doing. And where else can I get minerals? I guess we could buy some with trade. I guess we could buy some with trade if we weren't buying the food, so let's stop buying the food and buy some minerals instead, and then also just try to step up our trade at the same time. And that should just about give us enough minerals to also produce more consumer goods. But yeah, this is why I like trade for consumer goods, right? Because then you don't have to worry about minerals. Because I hate worrying about minerals. Because it's, yeah, when your pops are inefficient, needing to support the upkeep and then only produce a tiny amount as an output is just a diabolically bad feeling. And yeah, we're definitely not scaling very fast, but This is not a fast scaling build, and I think the real fun will come in later on once we actually find the planet that we're looking for. Although before we do that, right, we still even have to ascend with this, and unlike something like a synthetic ascension or the funny virtual build I showed off, you don't just immediately pop off upon taking psionics because psionics are not that strong. Um, so instead, you have to take things more slowly and kind of gradually improve. And wow, these commercial zones are way more effective than I thought. Just 300 trader jobs can massively reduce the amount of consumer goods we need to buy, which is definitely a good thing. And that means we probably don't need to run a consumer goods world, which is nice. I guess it makes sense. Our leaders are so high level. I think we have like 3 advisors already. Oh, 2 advisors. Well, sure, that's still great. And this is without merchant guilds. So if we ever get merchant guilds, that'd be really nice too. I don't know if it fits in the build, however, since what do we need late game? We need loop tank, we need civilian education, and we need pleasure seekers, right? So yeah, that's unfortunately not going to be enough for merchant guilds. We're one civic short. However, we'll be pretty close to be honest. So that is definitely nice. And yeah, in the meantime, I guess we could pop another city district out at some point. Although our amenities are already looking kind of mid, I think that's yeah, we're kind of at the limit, right? If we built any more city districts for assembly speed, we're gonna really fall apart amenities wise. So we're just gonna hold off on that until later. You know what? Screw it. One more city district. Why not? That's probably not worth it. Ooh, arc furnaces, right? We could use these. We could use arc furnaces and Dyson swarms to help our economy, right? Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. However, that also means we're gonna need way more energy credits. So, you know what? It's probably time to give up on this spiritualist zone. We're not gonna need uh, the unity from this anymore. So let's switch this to a generator support, and that will give us massive bonuses to the generator efficiency, which is good. I never turned this into a mining world, which is funny. We also probably have a bunch of civilians over here, and I'm honestly too lazy to move them back to the capital, although that would be a great idea. You know what, let's do it. Resettlement allowed. And let's resettle these boys back to the capital. Hopefully they don't move back or something, which they probably will. But yeah, if we can keep them stacked on the capital here, then they'll be giving us tech, which is exactly what we want. I also wonder if I happen to have skipped cloaking, or I just never noticed that it's there. But yeah, if we can run an efficient energy world, then we don't need to run minerals or alloys anymore, as yeah, we can have our arc furnaces do that. And did I remember to start Soul? No, of course I didn't. But with this many systems surveyed, if we don't have a 19 arc furnace plus deposit, like what is going on, right? And I just realized both of these have stopped. I wonder how long they've been stopped because I didn't notice. But anyways, let's just continue scanning. Do I want to still colonize these worlds? I don't know. We could. We could. Yeah, we have the ships. Why not? Just colonize them, and later on we can decolonize them for empire size if we need, or we can just leave them there as random supports for various things. Like we could run a resort world for amenities. Oh, that's a great idea. We could run a resort world for amenities. I wonder if that would be enough to have positive amenities on a loop tank world. I highly doubt it. But it would be funny if we could, right? So like this playthrough is going to be pretty long, so we're going to have time to try funny things out, right? And this is where we would normally ascend, but we can't. And I would normally take another perk, but I want to save this for a Cumulinopolis tech, which I don't think we've happened to roll yet in engineering, so we can just be patiently standing by for that and just working through other things at the same time. And as you can see, the list of agendas that we can actually do is starting to decrease. And the reason it's starting to decrease is the rate at which we're completing these agendas is really picking up. Like these are decently fast now. 58 months for infinite opportunities, which is a long agenda, is really quite fast. And we haven't even done anything specifically. We don't even have an education campaign on, right? Like we could turn that on now since we have the energy credits for it. And I believe, do we have arc furnace tech yet? Okay, 3 months. Once we have that, we can start looking for arc furnace systems too. I think there's no reason not to look for the best possible arc furnace systems that we can get. Oh yeah, and one city district really didn't hurt the amenities that badly, so let's go ahead and build another one until the amenities do start to get hurt pretty badly. As we also want that pop assembly speed, right? So, ooh, a lot of great options here. We get gases, we get destroyers. I think civilian fabricators will be the best though, because we definitely need to step up the amount of civilian fabricators we're getting. Um, and yeah, that also means our arc furnaces are done. Let's go ahead. There's an 18 right next to our capital and a 20 next to that. Wow, this is a beautiful home sector. Have you ever seen a home sector like this? Definitely not when I'm playing arc furnace origin. Like somehow, some way, the I get the guaranteed arc furnace on my capital, and then I get another one and nothing else. So I guess we can really cherry pick, right? Like we can cherry pick so that we don't even take 18 sites, and we go with like 20 only, and then just like make this energy world like crazy efficient because it is a size 15. Um, which at least in the late game will give us a really good amount of energy. So like that's a Dyson swarm almost. That's the funny thing, right? Is megastructures suck now. By the time you've researched megastructures, one planet is better than your megastructure. It's like here's a planet with 3,000 pops, right? Not that many. A few energy districts and an orbital ring, and it's way better than my Dyson swarm, like or my Dyson sphere. I mean, right? Not even Dyson swarm, which is definitely a little bit ridiculous. So, yeah, I think megastructures need a buff. Like if I were doing it, like oh yeah, the science nexus is a bit of a joke. It gives what 15% research speed and like 900 tech. Like that's the same as finding the curators, putting them on your council, and like I don't know, like 1k tech in late game Stellaris these days is I mean, it's not nothing, but it's really little. Like if I'm gonna be real, it is really really little. Um, like I'm trying to think of like to contextualize how much like I don't know. It's probably like 50 pop, not 50 pops, but like it's maybe like 1,000 pops these days on like a highly scaled world. Maybe a little more, but like, what is 1,000 pops if you're playing Bio Empire, right, which produces 45 freaking pops per month late game, and if you have a planet covered with, you know, the Fallen Empire medical buildings, you're getting like 100 pops per month on biomorphosis cloning, um, and you need like I don't know 3 districts worth of jobs to make an entire megastructures worth of tech. Yeah, I think yeah the megastructures really need a buff. Hopefully they buff the megastructures at some point. There are some that are still definitely amazing. Like I think the mega shipyard is still necessary for 25x crisis runs. Speaking of 25x crisis runs, I think they need a buff too. Uh, Last time I did 25x crisis run, I was able to. I don't actually think I beat. No, I did finish. I finished the first one. It did take a while. Um, I had quite a bit of skill issues doing it too, but the fleets were a little disappointing in the sense that at that point I had done so many repeatables that I was able to like if I didn't like suicide my fleet, I could kite like 5 million fleet power with like 350k to death. Um, and I'm not sure if you could do that with all the different crises, but yeah, definitely a little disappointing to see that. Oh, not 300,000 with like 3 million. I could kite like 10 million to death with like 3 million. No, I think I literally went under a million. I could still kite them to death because they couldn't catch up to the artillery uh, battleships. I guess maybe that's the way it's supposed to be done because they one shot you anyway. Uh, but it would be nice to, I think, see a ship nerf. I think late game lag has been helped quite a bit by the fleet consolidation, which I really appreciate. But I think each individual ship should have like twice the alloy cost or something, maybe 3 times, right? So that the overall fleet powers are just down a lot. And then you'd also have to adjust the fleet power of like certain free fleets and that kind of thing. Maybe like just the power of mercenary fleets and that kind of thing, and some of the random events that spawn around. Because yeah, I definitely enjoyed when. Do you remember? Does anyone remember Tech Beta? Yeah, during Tech Beta, the fleet sizes were much smaller. There was less lag. I actually enjoyed that because I thought it was a good way for the game to be played, and where if in Tech Beta you wanted, yeah, I also like the bad tech. to be honest. Like, tech is so fast these days on meta builds, and maybe it's just the builds are OP. I don't know what it is, guys. Please let me know in the comments what you think is the reason that like late game crises feel so weak and late game AIs feel so weak. Is it that the players are too good or the crises are too weak? It's probably that honestly that the players are too good these days, um, and the build variety that is available is honestly extremely difficult to balance as like I would imagine at least, right? Um, for example, in a game like League of Legends, which I actually also play, um, there are 170 champions, but that's a finite amount. No matter what champions you play, the champion has the same 4 abilities, the same passive, and the only thing that you're balancing is the way they interact with the other champions, and that is already near difficult, if not impossible. And then Stellaris comes in and tries to do balance, where there are literally an infinite possible ways to even set up your empire, let alone how those empires interact with the other empires of the galaxy, which I think leads the developers, and I think they've actually publicly stated this, that they don't balance the game for multiplayer. It is indeed balanced for single player, and as long as the super egregious stuff is not super common, they have no need to balance it. And honestly, I kind of agree with this sentiment, right? Like, I don't think it would be practical to try to. Do we really need more alloys? We need more everything. Oh dear. Okay, so we need more consumer goods. That's the easy solution. Disable one of these. And then we can use some trade here to buy some alloys. And let's see how many alloys we can buy. Oh, wow, we're still losing consumer goods, so we're going to need to buy like 15 consumer goods or something. Let's just buy 25 to be safe. And what we're going to do buying this many alloys is, of course, try to upgrade one of these arc furnaces until the point where it can start producing alloys for our empire, which will be very, very nice. On the meantime, we're just going to use these 2 planets for pop growth, and also occasionally pop a little upgrade on the capital and just move over some would-be civilians. Not a bad idea. I'm really curious, like, what is our pop assembly looking like now? I believe it should be quite good, right? And also, deprioritize colonists. Do not auto-migrate to be a colonist. That is ridiculous. Oh, you know, it's one thing I completely forgot to build. I don't want to delete the holo theater for it. Oh, that makes me sad. I also don't want to delete this for it. You know what? Goodbye, holo theater. A Tocton monument. What does this give? It gives unity per civilian. It gives trade per civilian because I'm egalitarian, and it gives unity from jobs. Amazing. Amazing. I think it's worth losing the amenities. How much is this holo theater making even? It says 2,500. Is that right? Let's take a look. No, that's over 6,000, but let's break it down into the different ones. 2,250. Barely anything. Screw it. let's build the Autochthon monument. That looks better to me. Get clone vats. We obviously don't need clone vats as a tech. Yeah, I think we can just bulk buy now. Yeah, let's just go bankrupt on alloys, lose all our trade in exchange for alloys, and then hopefully get this arc furnace self-sufficient, and then that will fund our other arc furnaces throughout the galaxy. Let me just continue to scan locations for them. Okay, I saw a really cool thing, which is really good players, not me, can actually just visually identify which systems are good arc furnace systems. And when arc furnaces were really meta, back in 3.14, right, where most builds were arc furnace rush builds, and yeah, it was just like a bunch of different builds that all tried to see how fast you could get the arc furnace tech and then scale off of that, right? Because that was like the jobless way to scale, which is still genuinely insane, but some builds scale so quickly that you outscale the need for arc furnace. Like when I play Biomorphosis, which I will definitely make a video about soon because it is still so strong. Ooh, did I get another Civic slot and literally not notice? I think so. Is it time to take Pleasure Seekers, guys? You know, it's worth a try. If this goes wrong, it goes wrong. This is probably going to be a disaster. um, Head of research in, upkeep from jobs. That's useful enough, to be honest. Minister of Defense. I don't know why I put a Minister of Defense. There's nothing to defend against. I don't need naval cap. Elite happiness. Why not? Let's try it out. Maybe the elite happiness can compensate for the absolute misery that this planet is going to be. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Or it hasn't updated yet. Oh, yeah, it's really not that bad. Okay. Our stability is still positive. Nice. We take those. We take those, and that's some good unity right there, too. I honestly thought that was going to be a lot. Ooh, psionic tech. I didn't even have to do the agenda for it. It just came along by itself. That's really, really nice. That'll save us some time before Ascension. Very, very nice. Oh, yeah, what was I saying about the Arc Furnace rush, right? Every build was trying to rush Arc Furnace, and one of the best players in Stellaris of all time, Mr. Pax himself. Um, and what he would do is he would just click on every system for like a split second, and he'd be like, okay, that's a arc furnace system, and then he would go and forward settle it, or just know to survey it and build a starbase there before anyone else, and then have his like 4 or 5 guaranteed arc furnace systems secured, where you would be kind of randomly hoping for one, and he would have them guaranteed because he would know to look for them just by looking at the map, which I thought was really cool. And essentially, what I learned from that is most arc furnace systems are dual ring systems. So anytime you see 2 asteroid belts, very likely to be a good arc furnace system. Other than that, I don't know how to identify anything more accurately than that. So don't ask me, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm also curious, with these civilians, what kind of pop assembly speed am I getting? 14? Yeah, I don't think it was worth dropping the amenities from my civilians to get that amount of pop assembly. On the bright side, oh, you know why? Oh, yeah, it's because we haven't taken the. Do I want to click the button? Set species rights. Yeah, because right now they're decent. If I take decadent lifestyle, first of all, it eats all our consumer goods. Oh no, it actually uses less consumer goods for civilians. But we stop getting amenities. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Negative 63,000 amenities. Okay, it looks like it's time to completely give up on amenities. But the pop happiness is still high enough, with probably as low amenity modifier as possible, to be above 50%. That is really nice, actually. Because yeah, we can just go ahead and max out the city districts now. Okay, so that was actually a really good thing. Good thing we did that. And can we take psionics yet? Oh man. Uh-oh. Okay. So this is a bit of a conundrum here. We have 2 options. Delay psionics, right? Or delay the possibility of, what am I trying to say? Delay the possibility of having access to early. Why did I click reorganize council? Of having an early Ecumenopolis, which is also bad. I think we shouldn't delay Ascension, because once we ascend, our Unity goes even faster, and we can just pick another Ascension perk, and then that would be fine. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Also, head of education. I do like that upkeep reduction. Let's go ahead and expand the council also. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and just take a filler Ascension perk. So the filler Ascension perk of choice here is Tech Ascendancy. It is the one and only. The reason we're taking Tech Ascendancy here is we'll need it to manage our Cosmogenesis research late game, so we don't research anything too dangerous. And now we can go ahead and take Interdimensional Processing and start our psionic situation. I also believe that, yeah, very soon we should be able to build the Psycore, as we already researched psionic theory, which is very, very nice. So it's just kind of a wait for Unity now. Also, yeah, our consumer goods take a hit there as well. but we're still getting decent consumer goods overall, so nothing to worry about. And we get another investor. Nice. We're also capped on energy now, so I guess we can build some resource silos every now and then. Other than that, yeah, I should be just focusing on this arc furnace, to be honest. As after I build one, that thing can then fund the rest of my arc furnaces, which I should continue to scout, right? I need one more. I think you can have 4 arc furnaces, although I think you need mega structures to get the 4th arc furnace, so I guess we won't have that for a while, so we won't have to worry about that for a while. Um, yeah, anyhow, still no field manipulation? I swear I should have cloaking. Do I have cloaking and haven't noticed? No, I don't have cloaking. Maybe it's because I need a leader. Um, oh. Are we blocked off? No, we're not blocked off. Just some of them have stopped. Okay. Oh, these guys are blocked off. What are they blocked off by? Yeah. So, how to unblock. Passive. Sail them through. And then they're unblocked. So we're going to have to send this science ship through as well. Just set it on passive. And then you can sail them through anything dangerous looking. And they'll almost always just skirt around the system, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll also send something up this way, to be honest. So we'll set you on passive, take a look at the way the system is, and it should be pretty easy to just send something here. Occasionally they'll get caught and you have to reroute them again, but they'll usually disengage, so I wouldn't worry too hard about losing leaders. I'd be worried more about survey speed, which we're definitely not doing well in. But let me just do a double check here. Signs of life. Nope. Nope. No cloud stance yet. I'm yet to get lucky in one of these build videos on where I get my cloud stance anomaly, but overall not a big deal. Also, let's resettle some of these civilians over to our capital. Also, it's getting late. I might have to continue this next time. It is now 12:30 a.m. and I'm definitely getting a little bit tired, but you know what? We'll continue going for a little bit and then cut it there. And really, void worms? I hate void worms. Okay, let me tell you the lowest alloy way I found that you can deal with void worms that doesn't also need a science ship with gravity. Wait, do I have gravity snares? If I have gravity snares, that's obviously the lowest alloy way to capture one of those. Anyhow, we can get this guy to continue to survey here. I need my science ship. Come on, science ship. Do I have... You know, I could have just checked the tech. Researched. Society. Physics. Do I see gravity snares anywhere here? No, I don't. No gravity snares, unfortunately. So, okay. Perfect then. Then I can, without guilt, show you guys how to, with my opinion, the lowest alloy way to deal with the void worm. You do need some tech, though. If you don't have star base tech yet, you're probably out of luck. And at that point, you might as well just start to tech up and look for it, as it probably won't take too long if you're really trying, so not a big deal. But you basically want to start with the starport, then you want to go into your defenses, and you want to create a design. And what you want to do is you essentially want to clear out everything. Where's the clear button? Clear design. And then you want a single component, which is a hangar station and a scout wing. And we're just going to go ahead and call this the engage class. I put a space there by accident. It doesn't matter. Now it looks cool, and I look a little edgy. And yeah, we're going to build a starbase here, and probably like a gun battery. We'll probably need a gun battery. And then we'll build the engage class defense platform. Make sure it's at the bottom of the queue, so it doesn't build first. And essentially what a hangar bay does that is super useful is it'll send a strike craft out and engage fleets at a very far range. And then it'll drag them to the center into your starbase, where they will then be killed. This is actually a behavior that you can do on larger systems too. Like if you're playing in multiplayer and somebody is like skirting around the edge of your system, destroying your star bases, or not star bases, your mining stations and that kind of thing, you can build the target uplink computer as well as one of these platforms, and it'll go ahead and take down all their fleets with your starbase, so it can stop people from griefing you that way. It also means that if your main form of attack is like a deep space citadel or something like that, and it's not on the correct side of the system, you can drag a fleet across the entire system into the starbase, and it's super powerful for that. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and advance our psionic situation. Also, we can go ahead and take that. Um, yeah, we're 1 month from Psycore, so let's go ahead and get the Psycore as well. Oh my god, and we're getting alloys now. Wow. We're going to have this arc furnace up in no time. Nice. And yeah, once this happens, we're also looking good because now it's time to build a Psycore everywhere. And also, we can build a chemical plant and upgrade one of these guys instead of having 3 separate buildings that are not very dense or efficient. Let's also go ahead and build some more energy, as we're currently overcapped on energy, but I know we won't be overcapped for long. Ooh. You know, I don't know which way this is gonna. This is gonna move us towards the eater, right? Cultivate substance. I just don't need that, so let's just go ahead. I don't care if we get. Oh, we moved down. Didn't expect that. Um, yeah, I still don't know which direction each event moves you in the shroud. So at this point, I've stopped trying to manipulate that, and I'm just gonna wait for the wiki to come out for it. And if the wiki doesn't come out for it, then I'll never know. Let's take a look at how our starbase here is progressing. Okay, so yeah, I guess at this point, if you're less cautious than myself, you can go ahead and build the engage class. We're just gonna build up everything so that we're guaranteed to win. I don't know the minimum requirements for actually winning. Oops, I didn't mean to move that. What am I doing? You're the Minister of Defense. Who is the next highest class ranked leader that is unassigned? I guess you. There we go. Okay. What was I doing? I don't even remember what I was doing anymore. Yeah, this is that's an ADHD moment right there. Maybe it's a getting tired moment. I don't really know. Let's build something there. Oh right, I was trying to make this build faster. I completely forgot to turn fortify the border. It's under our edict fund, so might as well build it a little bit faster. And we can actually start this arc furnace now, and we can start the next arc furnace as well. Which is over here. Let's go ahead and start the next arc furnace. And very soon we'll probably do 2 arc furnaces at once, which means I should build a shipyard here and like a couple more. Oh, we have a construction ship here, so I guess that. Ooh, there's a 17 there. So like, this an 18? You know what? 18 is the next closest, and I don't have to look for a new arc furnace system. So there we go. We've picked the 18. Oh, I already have a 19 over here, but yeah, that's not a huge issue at this point. So anyhow, ooh, oh, I think our amenities have reached a limit, guys. Uh, I'm kind of curious. This might be a huge waste. Does this do anything? No, no, it didn't. Okay. What else can we do here? Negotiate with Crime Lord for stability. Don't really want to do that. We'll launch an anti-crime campaign, and that will help the crime at least. Other than that, besides disabling this, not much we can do there. 24 pop assembly is nice, though. That's nice. You know, we might as well keep that around. That is really nice. Yeah, and our situation here is going fine, too. So, yeah, like, all in all, this build is not going too badly right now. It could be better, right? We could have better tech. We could have more resources and that kind of thing. But overall, we are definitely not doing too bad. And yeah, once these arc furnaces come online, we'll have an actual economy to work with. And another thing is, I'm going to wait for some of these arc furnaces to finish first, but we can move our entire Empire Capital thing over to consumer goods, which will allow us to upgrade one of these one time and still have enough consumer goods to support that, which I think will be very useful. And another tier of investor is always nice to see. And as you can see, these agendas are really coming out fast now. Like, what is the time for this? Like 55 months for another long agenda, really insane. And yeah, in the meantime, like, look at these. We're getting the upgrades for these. We won't need this very soon, right? Because the arc furnaces will overwhelm our actual demand for minerals by a long shot at some point, which is really good. And I can't believe it's year 60. I've been talking for 60 years. of Stellaris. Jeez, it doesn't feel like it when you have only 400 tech. Like, if you have 400 tech, have you really been playing for 60 years? No, you've been floundering around in bad Stellaris gameplay. I guess it is how it is sometimes, though, right? And I think we probably need to swap this over to consumer goods right away as well. Otherwise, we're gonna have some consumer goods issues. Yeah, we are already having consumer goods issues, but we can go ahead and resolve that without too much issue there. I think this is building an arc furnace. Let's go ahead and start a second arc furnace at the same time. Why not? And yeah, just arc furnaces everywhere. You love to see it. Yeah, those will really bridge our mid-game economy, as we haven't been doing too well. And you guys who are not ADHD infested brains have probably realized that I have 3 science ships here waiting to go survey. This entire build is bottlenecked by surveying, and I'm not surveying. that's a meme moment right there. Is there any more here? Yeah, you're not surveying. Go survey. How's our surveying going? Anomalies? Anything new? Not really. No cloud stance yet, guys. Wouldn't it be funny if I played this entire build and I didn't get a cloud stance anomaly? In my testing, I probably tested about 10 worlds where I just jumped into it, typed in survey into the console, and saw if there was a cloud stance anomaly. And I would say there was one 90% of the time. So wouldn't it be comedically funny if the one game I chose to shoot a long form video, there would be no cloud stance anomaly in the entire galaxy? That would make me really sad if that happened. Oh my god. I guess I'll just, just keep this recording and play again to the same point in a different game, and join back with you there, right? That would probably be the play, but it would be a little bit sad. Anyways, I'm gonna call it here today because my voice is getting really quiet because I'm a little bit tired and I want to record this with higher energy. It's been a good one so far, and I guess for you guys it'll be a smooth, seamless transition, so not really much in it. But yeah, let's go ahead and end it here. And welcome back, everybody. It's the next morning for me, so we're ready to get started again on a brand new day, building up this little empire here. So taking a look at where we're at, looks like yeah, we're building up the arc furnaces. We have a Zero deposit here that we should probably take, so let's go ahead and make a construction ship for that as well. Yeah, I'd say at this point in the game, we're really just kind of looking for archaeology project and trying to finish up this tradition. One nice thing is once you get started with Psionic and you get all the Psi cores up and running, these Unity situation gets really good, right? So very soon we won't have to worry about that anymore, and we can then focus on other things. And I guess we should also communicate with the Shroud here, right? And yeah, once again, we end up getting closer to the Composer than anything else at the beginning. Not the most ideal situation there, but what I have heard about the Shroud is that if you want to get a good timing on communicating with all of them, which is obviously not in this game because we are really far behind where we normally should be or would be in any kind of game, year 64, communicating with the Shroud for the first time, is you want to take the Composer first. And the reason is it is very hard to get attunement with the Composer later on, and it's very easy to get attunement with the other quadrants, relatively speaking. So yeah, it's an advantage to start with the Composer and then go to the other quadrants. Yeah, at this point, I don't know what techs we should be focusing on. To be honest, I guess we should just be focusing on upgrading these arc furnaces, which is definitely pretty fun, to be honest. Yeah, we still have energy credits to spare, right? And we still have plenty of support zones we can build to increase the efficiency of that. And as you can see, there's a lot of civilians piling up on some of these planets too, right? So, yeah, alright, nice. We can select his power is immaculate. And then we can go ahead and try to start getting these. So terraform a planet is obviously going to be a little bit expensive. I don't think we have any terraforming. Actually, do we have any terraforming candidates? We could probably terraform a planet, but it takes so long, so I think I want to reroll that, because it can be rerolled in just a year. And terraforming a planet, I believe, will take like 5 years minimum, basically regardless of what I do. So, yeah. By the way, am I the only one who gets a severe case of morning voice every day? Where when I wake up in the morning, my voice is just really groggy and like really dried out. I gotta drink like a lot of water for me to feel hydrated every morning. But yeah, not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. Let's go ahead and get that zero deposit now as well. Even though our situation is already concluded. Yeah, we're just waiting for Unity, right? Yeah, waiting for Unity. Waiting for the scanning. Where are my science ships now? Let's take a look at where they are. I've got a couple up here, one more there. Anything on the south here? Or is the south one's already headed north all the way up there? Yeah, okay, I guess that is what happened. It looks like we could use another science ship too. Or do we got 5 scanning already? Yeah, it looks like we could use another one. You know what? Yeah, let's just send another one through here. Put them on passive so they can sneak on through. And is it like, what is the prerequisite tech to shrouding? Or not shrouding, what's it called? Um, what's the thing where you go into a veil and you can't get targeted? Cloaking, right? Cloaking is a tech I almost never use in regular gameplay, although it could probably be pretty useful to be honest. The only reason I ever take cloaking is to scan the entire galaxy. I never cloak fleets. Maybe it's fun, guys. Do you know anything fun you can do with cloaked fleets or anything like that? Like, um, I don't like. Could you surprise an AI to the point where it's worth it? I don't really know, to be honest. You know what? I'm gonna send this ship up into this little quadrant here because there's nothing scanning in this little quadrant, and hey, you never know where that anomaly could be. Let's just go ahead and slowly scan through and just make sure we haven't missed anything here. Um, you know what'd be cool is once I need some actual tech speed, like I could use tech speed right now actually, right? Is I could start using one science ship to actually start completing all these anomalies, and then that would give really good tech speed. Um, yeah, in case you guys don't know how that works, is when you complete anomalies, many of them, not all of them, but many of them, give a decent chunk of tech based on your current tech output. So if you have a good current tech output, you can actually get quite a lot of tech simply by completing anomalies, which is like something that's very cool, I would say. Um, Also, yeah, I think we can stop buying those, and yeah, we can just continue to build up these arc furnaces. Very, very, very nice. I think we should theoretically be building Dyson spheres as well, right? Or Dyson swarms at least. Um, yeah, I don't see why that would be a bad idea. At least this a 9 deposit of energy? Nah, I thought it would be a 9 deposit on just the star. That was a hopeful look there. I know it. Like I've seen some really cool Dyson swarms back in the day. Like I saw a Dyson swarm that was producing exotic gases once, which was crazy. I don't know how you get that, and there's just like a lot of like niche knowledge like that, which I don't really pick up on really quickly compared to a lot of other players, I would say. Um, so yeah, despite having played a lot of Stellaris games, I don't really notice like a lot of the details like that because I kind of notice the bigger decision stuff. Oh, we finally found cloaking. Um, like instead of noticing that kind of thing, I kind of notice whether a build is strong or weak, or that kind of thing, or like does this combination of traits work? Does this um, build or ascension path feel like it has adequate pop growth or pop efficiency? Those are the kind of things I notice when I play Stellaris. And then what I notice is that I don't know how a lot of events work. Like even events I see every game, I only know how to make them not cause me any annoyance, and I don't really know how like they actually end because I just don't pay attention, even though I've done them hundreds of times. Um, which I would definitely say is a little unusual for a lot of players who probably play the game as much for the story elements of it as the meta elements. I should really start paying attention and start reading through the events. Like I never read events, I never read um, anomalies or that kind of thing. So I just kind of click through, and it makes it harder to remember exactly what I'm trying to do. And I don't even have power grid yet. Wow. Um, I guess one thing I should do here is probably replace this with an exotic gas production plant. Yeah. And yeah, I really wish we had more space here, but I think it is time we should definitely also start deleting these for city districts, right? Like I haven't been doing this for stability purposes, but I think we've definitely reached the amount of amenities which has capped the effect of happiness, so we might as well just go all out on that. And finally, anti-gravity engineering, so good timing here as well. As we get anti-gravity engineering, we're then able to Accumulinopolis our homeworld, which is very, very nice. And we haven't really been working on some of these side planets here, but we could Accumulinopolis them as well. Um, let me think about that. Would it be worth building up one of these planets just for Nikiminopolis? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, to be honest. So we won't think about that. Instead, we'll just go ahead and pop these last two arc furnaces. Let me just, is this a good system for a? No, it's a 3. For a Dyson Swarm is what I'm trying to say. Any good Dyson Swarm systems? I like to build them on like 7 plus energy if possible. If it's anything less than that, I usually find it's not worth it. Um, Tune Ort would be funny, like a physics Dyson Swarm, but it really doesn't produce enough to be worth it these days. I guess it could be very useful for the early game, right? If you're on top of things, but by this point in the game, I wish. Is there any like engineering producing stars? That would be fun. But this is like a pulsar, right? You can't build a Dyson Swarm around a pulsar, unfortunately. Funny things that would be would be useful to do if you could do them. Let's go ahead and take Harmony here, I guess. Whoa, what is happening to our consumer goods? Let's go ahead and buy some more. One other thing I've been wondering is, I'm already on consumer benefits, and with the consumer goods situation is still kind of tough. I guess we did just delete one consumer goods building for an exotic gas plant, but as we build city districts, the efficiency should come back from that, right? So that's pretty good. We can also go ahead and upgrade this generator world now, which is also pretty clean. And yeah, this generator world is actually keeping up quite well. I guess like once again, yeah, generator worlds are basically Dyson spheres these days. Like take a look at this. 710 energy is not the craziest, but this plant doesn't have a ring. It's not maxed out. It still has blockers, right? And I think it can at least double even without a ring. And then once we get a ring, it'll continue to go up from there. And wait, do I already have ring technology or do I? No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, whenever I play games over multiple days, so I always forget at what point I am in the game. And I guess we'll take another Peacekeeper here, take an Archivist, and Esteemed Quartermasters are actually really nice for real games where you need Naval Cap. Since we don't need Naval Cap, we can take something else. We don't even need a Minister of Defense on the council. This is just a habit I have of keeping one around. Because normally in most games you want to militarize at some point, right? And 21 months for an agenda is also just so insane to look at. It is so fast at this point. That is really like awesome to see, I guess. And yeah, I guess our economy is becoming real now. Our tech is finally starting to scale up. It's not really quite keeping up with the empire size, but 33 pop assembly is nice. And this is definitely a lot slower to get rolling, I would say, than something like the virtual variant of this build, right? Which, as soon as you click virtual, the build pops off, you have crazy assembly, and you start going crazy. And that is really not the case here, right? Let's go ahead and take our Arcology project as well, because we can take Cosmogenesis here, but we don't really have enough tech to do anything productive with Cosmogenesis, so yeah, might as well not bother with that. And oh yeah, I should continuously manage these ships because they are still mostly not doing anything. Um, yeah, I should probably like have sound notifications on so I actually notice when this happens. Um, and oh yeah, I also have cloaking now, so I can turn on cloaking for every single ship. Turn on cloaking for you. Turn on cloaking for you and for you. And there we go, turn on cloaking, and now we should actually start to really scan quickly because there'll be no more interruptions and no more accidental, oh, I forgot the ship wasn't moving anymore, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's really good. Let's just continue to offer tribute because I'm too lazy to build an actual fleet. Yeah, I don't think I ever built a ship this game so far. Maybe like one to try to aggro that Void Worm back then. Cruisers. Yeah, I guess cruisers because we can start moving towards mega engineering. Yeah, if I was trying to play more optimally too, I'd definitely be resettling civilians. Like, I'd go to this planet and resettle most of the civilian population over as, yeah, that's like 1,500 civilians. So that's like a good amount of potential production, right? So let's go ahead and move all the civilians over to our homeworld that are scattered throughout our other planets. As you can see, there's a ton. Wow, there's way more than I thought. I wonder if they'll just move back as well. I guess that's another problem. Is they probably don't want to be all crammed on the homeworld, but it's kind of fine, right? So 17,000 civilians, like 1.5k tech. Yeah, that's pretty good. This is not quite 1.5k. This is like what 1.3. It's definitely an improvement. Yeah, basically what inspired me to do this build is I didn't even know if civilians were affected um, by psionic bonuses. So I went into like a test world with commands and just spawned in a bunch of civilians and then took the psionic ascension path, and then I watched as the production just started spiraling up and up and up, and I was like, whoa, that is really amazing. So yeah, if we combine these things, right, this should make them. The calling of growth doesn't work on assembled pops. Man, that's annoying. Okay, I guess we can do this one. Uh, Create a template. What would I even want to change, to be honest? I guess turn off recycled and put on. I don't know what I want to put on. Exotic gas consumption? Sure. And then apply this template. How many did it say? 1500? So let's pick a planet with about exactly 1500 pops. And does that work, or does that have to be on a biological species too? In which case, the composer of strands is a really cooked quadrant, and we should go commune with other ones. I should also be using the Shroud Teacher, shouldn't I? Where's the Shroud Teacher? Let's go into Contacts, Shroud Walker, Enclave, and we seek Mastery of the Shroud. We seek further attunement with the Composer of Strands. Yes, we do. And we also want to commune with other Shroud entities, and we can buy this with Throw as well. And I wonder, yeah, I should probably have been doing that off cooldown. But yeah, when you're playing on fast and talking, I guess you're not really playing as efficiently as you can. And so the calling of change does work. And then we get the calling of growth again, which we've already confirmed does not work. So I guess, we'll just put both envoys on this. And then, um, yeah, when we refresh this every now and then, we'll be able to get some of those done. And that should work pretty well, I guess. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. We do get psionic shields as well. I do want to make a video on ships and ship components at some point. I would say when it comes to ships and ship components, since I'm not an expert, I really don't want to get anything wrong, so I'm going to have to develop a really rigid testing methodology that can kind of overcome some of the biases that I might introduce by not being very good at ships. So yeah, that video would be a long time in the making, or a longer time in the making, but I definitely want to make one soon. And basically, I think the way I want to do it is I'm going to make an empire with a whole bunch of common fleet designs, and then uncommon fleet designs, but that could be used, and then just test different types of fleets against those fleets. And I'll probably measure it by cost in trade, right? Because if you measure cost in alloys, then how much is a food worth? So you measure cost in trade equivalent at like a base market price. Um, or you could measure in naval cap. I'm not really sure which one I will use yet, either like in-game cost or naval cap. And then like you can't even do that also because not all resources are the same difficulty of production, right? Like food is always quite a bit easier than other things to produce, despite not being a very good deal to buy with trade. And it's mostly because anglers are so powerful, and then because anglers can be combined with counselors to get more bonuses than most other resource types. So can you consider uh, kind of food the same difficulty as energy or minerals? I don't really know. And there's also so many different kinds of ships that I would have to probably start with just alloy ships, for example, and then work towards mostly then bioships. Because, like, for example, weavers. There are so many different ways you can build a weaver. How am I supposed to test them? And, like, from what I understand, they're not even good in the first place, right? So, like, should I even test weavers, or should I test only stingers, harbingers, and, of course, the ever so infamous maulers? A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. So, yeah, we would definitely have to think about that later. And what did I want to do? Right. I want to go here, refresh this, calling of change. Okay, this one is doable. So we're going to go head into our species, um, find a template we want to apply, like the exotic gases template that I made earlier, right? And let's apply this template. And we needed 3,000 or more pops, so we'll pick a planet with 4,000 pops and then apply the template. And it looks like our alloys are full, so that's cool. What can I do with that? Let me quickly just build some resource silos and upgrade some of these. So this will use a little bit of alloys and also upgrade my storage capacity, which is pretty important. I always forget to upgrade my storage capacity. It's very annoying, I will say. Not my favorite part of the game, but let me slow down for a bit and just like check the situation log, see if everything is going as planned. Do we have the cloud stance? Do we have the cloud stance? No, we don't. I could check farther back, but I think we already checked it a few times and it was not back there. So, yeah, as you can see, our energy credits and our trade are both maxed now. So, we have plenty of that at least to go into the future. And like once again, with better planetary management, I wouldn't have to have maxed resources, and I could um, like upgrade this and buy extra. You know what? That's a good idea. Let's do that. And this planet is starting to grow rapidly, eh? Like, it's starting to run out of housing. Yeah, we're at 45 pop assembly. So I guess we're starting to get that pop assembly runaway effect. And I really hope that when we do get the cloud stance anomaly, it's in an area with a whole bunch of planets so we can get a really efficient sector for that going as well. Because I think that would be pretty fun. Um, yeah, because every single planet there will have quite a bit of telepaths, as there'll be a lot of like migration carryover. So I think that should be pretty cool. And yeah, as you can see, the start of this game was really slow, but it's starting to accelerate quite quickly now, right? Because now that we have so many pops, our faction output is pretty huge. Let's go ahead and take a look at our faction output here. I guess it's not that huge. It's like 200 unity, which is not terrific actually. But I guess when combined with the autochton monument is probably where it's coming from, right? Like jobs 1,222, factions 200, and buildings 16, pops 300. Is pops 300 the autochton monument, right? So yeah, like there's a lot of sources of unity there. Great researcher is probably a good option. And yeah, I guess things are just they're starting to pick up. Like they're definitely starting to move pretty fast now. Um, and yeah, very soon I'll be able to start researching the Cosmogenesis buildings as well. And yeah, I feel like we should be finding the cloud stance any moment soon, right? Because there's only this little area left. I gotta say, I'm either really unlucky in where the cloud stance spawned, or I'm really unlucky in the sense that it hasn't spawned at all in a rare case where it was overridden by something else, in which case I'd be pretty sad because I have enjoyed recording this so far. And it'd be a shame if I had to just go play a single player world, and that is where most of the footage came from. So what do I need to do now? Let me see. I need to replace something with a composer building, but it doesn't fit anywhere. Ooh, that's annoying. Yeah, this is a mistake. I should have put the heritage site on the commercial nexus. So let's go ahead and destroy that. Let's go ahead and build the sanctum of the composer here, and then let's go ahead and rebuild the autochton monument on one of these zones. Why can I not replace this with an autochton monument? Can you no longer place a monument building on a commercial nexus site? Huh? I'm really confused. Okay. That's a little bit unfortunate, I guess. I guess it's fine. We'll be able to replace the side core onto a orbital ring at some point. I think we already researched the text, so I should be building them everywhere. But I'm really lazy, so to be honest, I'll probably only build them over my generator world, which is over here, and my mineral world. As I don't think I'm ever going to be using these worlds. They're just kind of throwaways, especially since I don't need the naval cap. I could be building naval cap on them if I wanted to, and I have tons of minerals, so I honestly should be. You know what? Here's a good habit. If you ever want to scale planets without thinking about it, just click the city district building, as they always take time to build and they're always needed, right? So you kind of never lose anything by just building city districts. And then you can just specialize the planets whenever you need to do that. And that's a good way to keep your minerals down and also use your building time whenever you need it. So that when you need to actually build something important, you have your buildings available. You're not just spamming out city districts. And we can go ahead and delve here again. And we can forge our own path to get the amazing Shroud Shaper leader. Let me check that I have a good target. I would like to have I have a Shroud teacher, right? Hey, good thing I checked. Is the Shroud teacher the head of my empire? No, I never bought one. Okay. Good thing I checked. We seek mastery of the Shroud. What is to be our fate? Would you willing me to send us a teacher from your order? Yes, please send me a teacher from your order. And let's also just assign them to a planet randomly. Refinery focus, geology focus. Why? Can I get another teacher? Can I get another one, guys? I don't think I can, but can I get another one? Oh my god. I guess we'll just take Synaptic Lathe to start unlocking some of the better techs, and we'll take Cosmochin as this level 2 here as well. And yeah, I think things are going pretty well here now. We got the Composer building, very nice. We had to delete the Autochthon Monument, which has nuked our Unity. We're from 1.7k down to 1000, so that's just how much it was doing. I really thought you could build a monument on a commercial Nexus zone, but apparently you can't. Can you build a machine assembly plant? I think you can. Yeah, so you can do this. Machine assembly plant on the commercial Nexus, an Autochthon monument on the standard area. Okay, that works. That's funny, but it works. Um, and I guess we can just buy some consumer goods, right? Oh man, they are expensive, but why not? We're not going to be using that trade now. Another Void Worm Plague. Man, they already killed my starbase too. My starbase is 1 HP. So I guess it's time to build some ships. Fleet management, ship design, and what do we got? We got battleships, all lasers. Screw it, why not? I'm too lazy to think of anything more specific than that. Um, let's just like build a few to take care of it, and we can upgrade those to like some real ship design later. But for now, yeah, you can just be some random battleship. Maybe I should have picked something that builds faster. But we can easily solve that issue with fleet supremacy. Yay! And I'm curious how much Unity we're gonna get when these two buildings are done. Also, how much pop assembly do I have? 54. Crazy. It's going up fast, right? Last time I checked, it was like 40 something. Um, and yeah, let's also take a look at the situation log. We better be finding it soon, right? We only have a tiny bit of space left. I'm starting to get nervous. You get a Wankor and a 24 size barren world there, which would be cool if that becomes my new home sector. So please be found around here. Do we have any ships standing still? You know, we can just go over the leader cap at this point. Our leader cap is probably surprisingly high. Um, so might as well, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, you guys are transiting between random areas that are missing a scan or two. Maybe I should turn the hyperlane density up. Maybe that could have helped with the surveying speed. But yeah, it always tends to take about this long to survey the entire galaxy. It's pretty funny that if I did a broken tech rush build, like if I played synth fertility this game, I would have megastructures by like year 60, and I could have a what's that megastructure that gives you vision? A sentry, like or whatever megastructure done by like year 75 or something, and then I could see the entire galaxy. I guess it doesn't survey the entire galaxy, it just gives you intel and vision, but like it would be funny, right? The fact that you can do that before I can even just regularly survey 200 stars. It just takes surprisingly long, eh? Like it just takes years and years and years. Um, despite appearing to be a relatively simple task. I mean, honestly, it should be a really relatively simple task. Is a one battleship with all lasers already 1.4k fleet power? I'm slightly surprised by that, as that's a really terrible design. Um, yeah, another reason why I guess you shouldn't trust fleet power numbers is they are often very skewed. They're very like they don't know if a ship design is good or bad. And one thing I used to do back in Disruptor meta, this is one of my favorite things to do because I'm very bad at ship designs. So when Disruptors used to be allowed in multiplayer, they're one of the best um, ship classes in multiplayer. Period. They ignore shields and armor, so they directly hit hull, and hull hardening is relatively hard to come by. And I'm going to be honest, like hull hardening also affects non-disruptor ship designs, and at the end of the day, a disruptor ship design is beaten by another disruptor ship design with hardening. But a regular ship design with hardening might still lose to disruptors. Um, so basically, at that point in time, if you weren't using disruptors, you were losing. So what I would do is I would build ships with like tier 3 disruptors, or the highest tier disruptor I would have, and I would deliberately put in the shittiest armor I have, or literally leave the ships with no armor and like maybe a little bit of shields, and nothing else. But they would all be terrible like level. I'd use level 1 if I would unlock the obsolete components, and I'd just use those. And the reason I would do that is the fleet power would appear very weak, but it would actually be many ships. Except for other people, they only look at the fleet power and then they look, oh, I can beat that, and they would fly their 30k ships into my 15k and then get completely smoked, and to be like, huh, what happened? And it's like, oh, well, I wasn't wasting fleet power and alloys on wasted components like armor and hull when it doesn't matter, and it was really cheesy and really dumb. I don't think we should ever unban disruptors because, man, it is not balanced at all. So I completely understand. I've been playing on normal. I should be playing on fast. I don't think they should ever unban disruptors, but it was really funny when it was unbanned because you could do funny shit that relied on the brokenness of them like that. And ever since that, I've never been good at ships. Um, from what I understand, there's a few good designs. As we play and um, we're not doing anything too important. I can go over what I believe to be some good ship designs. I don't really know how true these are, but against players, one of the most common ship designs I see that seems to be pretty good. I don't even have the components. I don't have torpedoes, or not torpedoes, but neutrons and protons. And people would put a kinetic artillery. I don't have a kinetic artillery, so I'll put a coil gun here as a placeholder, and then on the middle you would use the neutrons or protons, and then on the gunship you would either put like missiles or something, or what's the one with the medium component? Yeah, like whirlwind missile, something like that. And that would be a decent ship design that I see pretty often. Another one is just plasma and kinetic. That one's like the mid game one. So where the highest tier kinetic you have, the highest tier plasma with a artillery computer. That's another common design I see when disruptors are banned. And then the ship I like in single player the most is a battleship design, and it is a particle lance, which I do have, artillery core, and I would use triple kinetic artillery, and then for the broadside stern, I would use double whirlwind missile, and then whatever components I have with an artillery computer. And the reason I like this is it has very, very high range, and it tends to outrange most other ship designs and has no major weaknesses. So you can usually take out either it's good against Crisis, it's good against Fallen Empire, it's good against basically everything. It's not the best against anything, I don't think. But you'll never run into something that you're 100 0'd by, which is what I find important in single player in the first place, right? So yeah, I think we just take adaptability now. We need to take adaptability for our +1 planet size. That is literally the only reason I need to take adaptability. Um, so yeah. Anyways, take a look, see if we have lucked out. Still no cloud stance. Okay, I'm getting real nervous now. If there's no cloud stance in this thing, I'll have to play up until this point in single player, which will be really boring, I would say. Really, really boring. But we'll make it work. Although I could probably learn from a few things I did wrong in this build, which is, I guess I think if we start with Pleasure Seekers, it would probably be pretty good advantage, right? And, oh yeah, also, I should research this. Shaping the Shroud. Let's go ahead and get our Shroud Teacher. I really, there's like better leaders to put it on than the Shroud Teacher, but the Shroud Teacher's never a bad option, so hopefully we get them as an option, and if we can't get them as an option, unlucky, I guess. Yeah, I know, like, there's some of the Paragons are really good, and I haven't gotten offered any of them yet, to be honest, so that's pretty unlucky, I guess. Uh, so, yeah, I mean, I guess I could try to get them killed. Can they even be killed? I don't even know. Within the Shroud, and I think a few months later, we should get a Aura Breakthrough. I like how I don't even have crystals yet. In the big 85, we don't have crystals. Alright, let's pause and take a look. Minister of State. I believe my Minister of State is indeed the Shroud Teacher. So let's go ahead and put the Chosen on them. And there we go. Let's also make sure they're the head of our governing sector. Yes, they are. And now we should have access to a ridiculous amount of telepaths. Yeah, 1.7 thousand telepaths. And that's probably feeding into our pop assembly efficiency. Yep, we're over 100 now. And that's also feeding into our tech and other things. We're at basically 3K now. So that's really, really nice, to be honest. Honestly, I should probably make some more battleships. Like, just as a store of alloys. Like, why not? I probably should have saved it for, like, mega structures or something. But, yeah, we can just make some battleships to store some alloys. They're terrible designs, right? I'll fix it later. I'm too lazy to fix it right now because that's the way I operate. And wow, we're really getting close to the end. Maybe I missed it. Dude, clouds. There's movement in the clouds. That is a bait. Movement in the clouds is not what we're looking for. We're looking for a cloud stance. So first letter C. Corrupt survey data. Nope. Cold. Corrupted crash site. Nope. It'd be funny if it was here the whole time and I just didn't see it. And now I've been waffling on for hours. And we didn't have it covered in debris. Curious signal. No cloud stats. I honestly, if it doesn't spawn in this galaxy, that's super unlucky because, yeah, just in testing, it spawns so frequently. You get it almost every time. Not every time, right? I did load into a few worlds, type in survey into the command bar, and not see a cloud stance at least a couple times. So it is possible, but it would be really sad. We have just a few more systems to survey as well. But at least there's a few more, right? There's this. I mean, it can't spawn in a system with a black hole. It could be somewhere like here, right? That's unscanned still. We don't have jump drive, so it would be annoying to go fly into all the random corners of the galaxy that are unscanned. But honestly, the auto survey should have that covered at some point since they are cloaked now. I guess we just got to be patient. And yeah. And I had to go for a little bathroom break there. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, our tradition tree is almost done. That's really nice. 3K tech and going strong. Very, very nice as well. Oh, and the arcology is about to finish. Very nice. So, yeah, I think the arcology is mostly going to be used for just our first major source of technology, right? And also a major source of trade to sustain our economy. I think we're definitely going to have more trader jobs on this arcology than we really need. So we can indeed go for probably an upgraded center of guidance now as well. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to buy excess consumer goods with any what's called excess trade we have, because other than that, I don't really think I need any of these resources too badly. It also looks like even through our arc furnaces, where our mineral production is starting to take a hit, so maybe it's time we need to upgrade that as well. I wonder what is our mineral being used by even. I guess we're just not producing that much in the first place. Arc furnaces, I think, were nerfed in mineral output. Yeah, they used to give twice as much, right? So you could really run an entire economy off of just arc furnaces. And that was pretty crazy, but looks like that is no more. And yeah, at this point, let's also take a look at our civilians. 23k pop assembly down to 71, so we actually lost pop assembly speed, probably because the effective amount of nexus districts on our planet has actually decreased. And Cronin the Afflicted, see, I kind of wanted to get the Shroud Shaper on them because they got some crazy research bonuses that do work on the civilians as well. But if we get Shroud Preacher on our Shroud Governor here, then that's also a very nice bonus. And if we get anything else for them, it'll be a little bit sad, but they're also a Governor class leader, so I guess it's not bad to have them as the main leader. Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of different options these days for the best way to play psionics. And in the future, when things calm down and kind of stop changing so rapidly, we can, evaluate that more accurately. Movement in the clouds just makes it seem like it would be cloud stance. But yeah, we're really down to just like a dozen systems left that have been unsurveyed. There's like one up here. And, I guess I should start just moving some science ships over to where I suspect uh, there could be a couple unscanned systems. And if there's no cloud stance there, well, we're looking at a restart, in which case I will play that one off camera until I find it. Uh, which would suck because, yeah, this was a long time in the making, but if that happens, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, let's also just get the cloaking on. Oh yeah, can I cloak a unmanned ship? You can. Okay, nice. Shroud warped. Nice. We're starting to get those Fallen Empire technologies coming in too. Once again, with our current assembly speed, it's probably not the fastest, but I guess what I can do is, first of all, let's go ahead and get rid of those void worms. Where are they? Uh, there they are. Oh, is that a raiding fleet, not a void worm? Ah, it's a raiding fleet, I think. So let's go ahead and just give them something, and that will probably make them leave us alone. Yep. And then we can move all these extra civilians over to our capital, speed up the assembly just a little bit, right? And I think overall we probably have a lot of civilians off capital at this point, so it probably makes a pretty big difference. Like only 300 there, 600 there. Okay, so not the most, but we're still lacking on housing. Is pretty insane. Yeah, I guess the housing is just not that efficient. And once we have housing and amenity modifiers working against us, we'll definitely start to need um, stability from soldiers, probably. So we're above 50 right now, so I guess no need for that yet. But if we ever get to that point, it should be necessary. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm just like going over just in case I missed it in a look, well, looking for it earlier, but no, I really don't see it. It would be funny if it was one of the first things we ever got, and I just never saw it. Yeah, no cloud stance there. Let's scroll back to the end, and let's check how many systems do we have left. We have like a few systems with like amoeba and just like a couple unscanned systems. Not that many anomalies left. Well, we just gotta pray at this point. It kind of sucks, this world is going well altogether. It will let me, if I do play this again, I can also share with you the findings I have in getting to the point of scanning the entire galaxy earlier, because I will have practiced it quite a few times at that point. Let's get ahead of research, Minister of Defense, uh, Shroud. Yeah, Shroud Teacher, I guess. And you know what? I just noticed that we don't have the Divine Sovereign yet. And I think we're not a megacorp, right? So we are able to get one. I guess it's just a matter of time before that happens. Um, yeah, I guess we'll just continue waiting at this point, right? Like, not much to do there. Citadels. This is super late Citadels, but I guess one other thing I should be doing at this point is trying to visit all the quadrants of the Shroud. Oh, we can get Psionic Democracy as well. But I guess I just never really felt the need to do it yet. So, you know what? Contacts. Let's make contact uh, with the first covenant here. Not the first covenant, the Eater of Worlds, and I guess we could go towards them by militarizing, right? Yeah, calling of arms, make naval capacity. Oh, we're kind of over our naval cap already. Oops. Well, we're gonna add some naval cap very soon because we're gonna use one of these as a soldier district for stability purposes, right? I don't even think we need it currently, to be honest, but I guess we could make one of these planets into a naval capacity focused base. Let's just pick this planet and go ahead and start building up some naval cap on it, and we can start to work towards moving all the quadrants. It would definitely be useful. And one more check for the anomalies. No, really? I guess there's some more systems, we don't have to give up yet. We can wait for these last few systems to finish surveying. And if none of them have it, then that's just a really cursed galaxy, isn't it? A really cursed galaxy. Like, where are these heading? I guess they're heading over to the straggling systems in these areas of the galaxy that have not been scanned yet. Oh, and we finished our tradition tree. Nice. Year 93 is definitely not the best, but I think we finished year 53 with fortune tellers, um, which is just pretty crazy if you think about it. Year 53, finish your entire tradition tree is definitely nice. But yeah, I guess not today. We're gonna instead be working on much more basic stuff, like trying to find a single anomaly that keeps defying us. And we can see our tech is scaling up pretty fast at this point as well. What's our assembly looking like? 110, very, very nice. Uh, if I build these, they'll take away civilian jobs. So what I'll probably do instead, right, is just build up these unspecialized arcologies first, and then swap them over to other kind of arcologies later on, when we actually need jobs, right? Especially trade jobs to sustain our consumer goods situation. Then I'll swap them over to consumer goods districts, and I will also probably at that point need to build the Fallen Empire trade-based buildings to try to keep the trade up, as that will definitely be a struggle very, very soon. Um, yeah, let's just go ahead and continue with this. Ooh, we're not even getting new anomalies, which is really really sus. But yeah, just gotta wait on that. And yeah, it's also fun to watch this scaling like as we speak, right? Like if you're like watching these tech numbers and stuff, they're probably going up like as we speak, which is really awesome as well. So you know what we should actually do is we should actually go ahead and start ascending this colony a little bit, since we don't need the Unity anymore, right? So this will also give us some nice bonuses, even more assembly speed, um, and also reduce our empire size, as the empire size can run away pretty quickly if we're not paying attention to that. Um, Still no cloud stance. I should really just go murder these guys now as well. Like we have the fleets for it. At least we should. I think the fleet designs are so bad it might be close, but um, yeah. At this point, also you might have noticed that it's basically taking my entire attention to refresh the text, and this is why I like to play with tech ascendancy. Is because you get the option to change your research restrictions to restrictions imposed, and then you can just select auto tech for everything. And then you can even play on faster or fastest and still be able to manage other aspects of your empire. Although I would say no matter what, when you're playing on these super high speeds, you're never able to manage your empire as well as when you're playing on lower speeds and um, manually clicking more buttons, which is fine. Right, either way you like to play is completely valid. Right, you don't need to play well to do well in Stellaris. You can also just have fun and do more crazy or more dramatic things. You know what we're gonna do here? Fleet management, and we're just gonna build corvettes. I don't even care what the design is. Let's just not 250. New, create new, and is it shift? Oh, it's shift click. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing it like this. Let's do 50. Yeah, just do 50 corvettes, and that will help us out to get that thing. Lost soul, space debris. No, wow, no cloud stance. No clouds. I'm just gonna scroll over it again. Okay, once we're all our auto surveying is completely done, right? There's still some systems left. I don't think you can possibly get it over the Marauders, but you know what? Let's go murder the Marauders. Battleship 39K. I think they're all laser. Yeah, what a funny ship design. Let's just go send them in and see if we can murder off these Marauders. I don't think they'll be very strong in these galaxy settings anyway, and if they are, well, perfect. That lowers our naval cap, and we can spend less on that, and more on getting our tech up there so that we can more rapidly start to accelerate into the game. Crisis level 4 is really nice. Scroll back down to the bottom. Still no cloud stance. Let's see, like where are these guys going? Are you out of surveys? Are you cloaked? Oh, you were cloaked, and now you're not cloaked. No, there's still some systems up here. Why are they not getting surveyed? Um, there's like random systems every now here and there that aren't surveyed. Oh, that is so annoying. Turn on cloaking. Let's go survey. Okay, I guess some of them just got canceled for no reason, I guess. But let's go ahead and send out some more ships. Okay, I guess that's nice. Should we build some more? Yeah, I guess we should build some more, to be honest, right? More ships, more surveying, more survey speed. Yeah, who could have ever guessed that survey speed would become such a big issue? Funny how every game comes with its own challenges, and they never seem to be the same. And let's see how these battleships are doing as well. I just realized we could probably turn on some edicts as well. We probably have just a metric ton of all those rare exotic resources. So let's just go ahead and turn every edict on just in case. The corvettes are so much faster than there are fleets that are just flying in and dying, which is fine with me to be honest. I wonder what terrible designs they've been given. Um, Fleet management, contacts, calling of arms, perfect. That's through. Be an attacker in a war. We obviously can't do that. Build 75 naval capacity. Perfect. That is something we can do. And we can go back to our silly Corvette fleet wherever it was and just add like, I don't know, is it 75? So like 100? Oh, no shipyard to build fleet. We'll just add it to this then. What do we like 75? So let's do 80. Oh, of course. Okay, let's do it on a brand new fleet. I don't know why I don't just go up to 80 instead of going the other way, which is the less efficient way to do it, but that's fine. Not a huge deal. Okay, it looks like my battleships with all laser were still enough to defeat some of these marauder fleets. Just get rid of any survey that might be system that might be unsurveyed. I'm not getting any more anomalies. Is this all the anomalies? Could be. Could be. Hmm. There's like a few more unsurveyed systems. Oh man, it's getting really scary now. It's getting really scary now. Here's the thing, if I play a whole new world and I play the entire game off camera, once I get on camera, I'm going to be like used to cutting out most of the stuff. So I'm going to be like, okay, and then we built the Cumulonimbus, and then the Cumulonimbus was done, and then we did lose that fight. Okay. I'm just clicking buttons, by the way. I don't even know what these do. Build up naval capacity. Okay, that will be done soon enough. So, yeah, I guess at least in this meantime, we can visit all the quadrants. I'm always super lazy about this, so it usually takes a while. Calling of invasion. Yeah, there's no planets to invade here, unfortunately. But you have systems to scan. Come on, lazy ass science ship. Is that it? No, I clearly see ships. Okay, we'll send them from the homeworld because for some reason that seems to work. No? Man. Man. Do I like I think the chance that it is in one of the random unsurveyed systems is really low. Like in fact we can manually check and see if there's I guess we can't see if there's a gas giant, right? Um huh. I noticed that there is a gas giant in systems with a dual ring. There's more like it could be there. That like that's a gas giant. So I guess we should send in some ships. Okay, we need to do ship designs. I'm so freaking lazy. It's time we get this sorted, and it's also time to get a alloy world, I guess. So here we go. You can be an alloy world. Heavy industry, and also let's build a ring around here. Yeah, this is why I should have done this earlier, to be honest. But, laziness is coming back to haunt me now. And fleet management, ship designer. I kind of want my ships to be kind of fast, right? So I can run around the galaxy and be ready. But I guess I'm not going to be bothered to do that. So artillery core. Of course, we only have what tier 1 kinetic battery here in 2300. That's pretty sad. Broadside stern should be able to get the whirlwind missiles. Yep, and then I can just autofill. Nope, not autocomplete. Yeah, autocomplete the components here. We don't need the enigmatic decoders. That'll make our ships cost dark energy, which is not actually something that we want because I don't think we have access to it yet. Artillery computers, perfect. And we can fly these around the galaxy and destroy everything. So let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, after this, it's just about alloys, right? So Forge World, Metallurgic Research Lab, Alloy Reclamation Plant, and Ministry of Production we'll only be able to build after a bit. So then let's also just move over some civilians, right? Not a big deal. There's so many civilians on yeah, and 330 alloys is not bad. And this is also like a size like 2 world, so it's not going to have the biggest capacity for alloys in the first place, but it'll be something. It won't be 0. And we should be able to immediately arcology project this thing too. Also, I should take hydrocentric now as well. That's the reason we take waterproof at the beginning of the game in the first place. And now we can probably get these to survey a few more of these systems that have been recently uncovered. And yeah, I guess we're just going to go around, fly these ships over to everywhere where there's hostiles that appear to be blocking the scanning. I don't know why the scanning can even be blocked when um, when they're cloaked anyway. Is there some reason that the cloaking can't protect them from certain systems? I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyhow, let's just go ahead and make these guys auto survey some stuff. They're all trying to survey the same systems, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I guess the next stage of this game, well, I mean, at the same time, we're not actually wasting time, right? Because this entire time, we're getting pops on this world. Whoa, right? Which can later be moved over, and that is a lot of pop assembly, that is for sure. Um, awesome. I'm not complaining. A lot of pop assembly is a good thing, and yeah, the assembly is definitely getting really fast there, so that's nice, I guess. That's an interesting color. I've never seen that before. Did we accidentally delete all our attunement with the Eater? Man, that's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, that's fine. How's our home fleets doing? Pretty good. These pirate fleets are getting massive, by the way. Pretty fun. Pretty crazy how that works, to be honest. You know what? I'm just gonna merge all of these. Like, we still don't have jump drives because of the lackluster early game tech. Where is that? What are they? Raiding fleet. Okay, okay, raiding fleet. Let's get more fleets. 14k tech, not bad compared to the amount of fleets we have. That's amazing. Yeah, we really should build up an alloy planet. Should have built up an alloy planet in the mid game, but things are also going really fast now. To be honest, we get juggernauts. Yay! We needed juggernauts for a while, so let's honestly manually take that as an option. Oh no, we got Robo Manufacturing Nexus. That's even better, right? That's the true infinite scaling start. Unfortunately, however, Mystical. Well, that's our uh, new scan there is Mystical. Not really what we're looking for. I don't even remember what these were trying to clean up. Like, just go get you're cloaked. Go scan all the cloaked systems. I don't get it. Why are you not auto scanning? Like, sometimes they go through the cloak system, sometimes they just give up. I don't know how that works. Okay. I mean, there's like some veiled systems over here. Let's go take care of those. There's a veiled system over here. Man, if I'm doing all this for nothing, that would be crazy. And honestly, would not be that good of a video. Probably pretty boring. Um, shit, like, would it be a good idea to just cut it here and be like, well, if I find it, it's whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't know. We're just gonna keep going. To be honest, we're gonna keep going. It's gonna be great. We're gonna build some consumer nexus districts here. Um, yeah, this is gonna make a ton of trader, but we could use them right now. So why not? And we're running out of housing. Uh oh. Uh oh. 365 assembly. Okay, yeah, the exponential thing is starting to go, and if it gets too crazy, we can just disable pop assembly on this planet, right? Because at some point it'll start to crash our basic economy. As you can see, our energy credits are probably just like barely holding on now. Um, Although like this orbital ring, of course, has a long way to go. So um, yeah, we also just still have so many systems to scan though. So it feels like it definitely could be here. Divine Sovereign. Okay, nice. Let's get that. And what does that take away from us? Let's see. No, all our civics are still active. We don't even need to reform if we don't want to. Boom. Head of research. Divine Conduit. Ooh, level 10 leader for the Divine Conduit. Yeah, hell yeah. Shroud Walker teacher. Oh, I just realized. Okay, we need to reform back to oligarchic. Reform back to oligarchic. Then emergency election. Then that gets rid of your main leader. as the Divine Sovereign, and then that will allow you to have the council you want again, which is nice. Let's go ahead and fix our council up. Boom. More scientists, why not? We really don't need elite happiness is, I guess, nice for the happiness of our overall empire. And then we can put our, no, that's not the right Shroud Shaper, put the real Shroud Shaper back. And there we go, we're back to having 3.2 thousand telepaths. This is gonna go crazy really soon, eh? And that also means we're gonna need a trade fed really soon. How do we get a trade fed really soon? We might have to release one of these planets. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 4 jumps. So we're gonna need another planet to release too. Uh-oh. Yeah, because this is gonna go out of hand really soon. Yeah, negative 1k consumer goods. Uh-oh. Is our trade policy changed? No, consumer benefits. We're just negative 1k. Oh, okay. Guys. Let's take a break. Oh, yeah, you can see the exponential runway. 1.7 thousand assembly. We cannot sustain that. So decisions. Can we stop assembly here? No. Okay. Disable this. And disable this, and we should have a normal amount of assembly now, right? Yeah, 65. Okay, that's 65 and 0 might as well be the same number in this context, but yeah, we're losing a lot of resources now. Yeah, that so quickly went from, hey, this is nice and sustainable, there's no problems here, to holy shit, our entire economy is exploding. It was just instant. That's so crazy. And also, you can see how this build works on a non-enormous planet. I think it would just be so much fun on an enormous planet, right? Like, yeah, like we're already at 44,000 tech. On a huge planet, we could definitely get to millions. How are we going to sustain that in the actual playthrough if this is not the one? Because Cloud Stance! Wow, it was there. It was there. Look at it. Over. I'm so glad I didn't cut now. There it was. In that system. Very close to our homeworld, just blocked in. Pretty crazy. Okay, so a few things we need to do here. First, form a trade fed. So let's go ahead and build a star base on some random in-between world that we can form a trade fed with. Let's build some star bases to close the distance as well, because it is much easier to make a trade fed with somebody that borders you directly. After forming a trade fed, is taking this planet, and also, okay, I really wasn't looking forward to this part of the video, but we need the Astro Crater, right? Oh, build armies, that's very doable. That's my ADHD brain going off right there. It's like, okay, we can build some armies to fulfill that one. Nice. Okay. Why are we losing minerals? You know what? We have 16,000 trade. Just boom. Mineral problem solved. The energy problem, on the other hand, is definitely not going to get better with time. Because, yeah, this planet, like, it has some headroom, right? We can put a stratospheric ionizing elements on it, some more of those. But, yeah, after that, we're not going to have much we can do. So, yeah, we're going to need a trade fed. We don't need it right away, but we need it soon. And then we need the Astro Crater, right? So unfortunately, I never got the event in this 100 years of gameplay, so I'm just going to spawn it in. Event Paragon.228. Believe that's correct. There we go. And we can enlist the Astro Crater Azarian. Do keep in mind, if you're playing fully legitimately or in Iron Man mode, just start with a size 30 homeworld. And honestly, that will be more than enough. And yeah, you don't have to use commands or anything like that. You can play fully legit and make that happen as well. I just think this will look really, really cool in the video thumbnail, especially now that I know how to actually get the Dragon Parade onto the planet you want. Thanks a lot, comments, for letting me know how that's done, because, yeah, I was having some skill issues there last time I was playing. So let's go ahead and send a colony ship over here. And, yeah, as you can see, we're starting to have this negative runaway effect for energy credits, and that is why we need a trade fed. And yeah, for now we can just buy 1,000 energy credits per month, but obviously, like, the ratio you get from trade is not very good, and the price goes too high, and then they can't be maintained because we only have so many traders. Do we have the galactic commerce hubs? We should, to be honest. So galactic commerce hub. Da, 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 da. Galactic Commerce Hub, Galactic Commerce Hub, Galactic Commerce Hub, and Galactic Commerce Hub, Galactic. Yeah, you're gonna get the point soon, and that should help sustain our basic economy. And yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of consumer goods when we make it take a trade fed because it reduces the ratio of your goods that go towards um, consumer goods. Like more of your trade will be converted into energy credits and other things. Except there's a really easy solution that is you only run one minimal center of guidance, and then you have more than enough consumer goods, and you will still eventually go to infinite tech. Um, so that's great, I guess. Boom, Sonic Lightning. Let's see what we get next. Calling of Invasion, Conquer a Planet. Can't do that. We'll have to skip that when we can. And yeah, I guess at this point, it's just a matter of waiting on influence, right? Our influence is not great, but we should have, yeah, we should have these now. So Will to Power, I believe, gives us 5 monthly influence. And honestly, we can turn on a Grand Fleet too. Extra naval capacity, extra influence from naval capacity, both useful stats. Also, I should be looking at mega structures, right? Because I should have access to them. No, I won't. I won't have access to the two big ones because I need to take a Colossus project. Right? Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Let's go ahead and go into the situation log and just research the Colossus project already, so I can um, start getting more Colossi techs. And also, let's upgrade our command center here to a Citadel, and that should be very helpful indeed. And wow, that tech is already done. And we should be able to roll the other gun technologies, including the Deluge weapon, Deluge, the one where we soak the planet, right? I think that's what we want at the end of the day. And yeah, they'll show up in the techs over time, and they'll naturally roll with 45,000 tech pretty quickly. Like these repeatables aren't 1 month because our empire size is so big, but we'll definitely get to 1 month repeatables at some point in this game. Efficiency, naturalist, refinery. I don't think any of these are that useful for the late game, to be honest. So we'll just pick something. If there was a better pick there, just let me know in the comments, of course, because I do read most of them. I don't respond to all of them anymore. I totally should, to be honest. That's my bad, but yeah, we're getting close. We're bridging this distance all the way. Is there going to be any other planets in the sector? This is going to be a size 15 tropical world. Yeah, to be honest, all the other planets in this sector will either have to be manufactured. Man, this gas giant feels like it's bigger than this one. Don't you think? They're both pretty big. They're gas giants, but oh yeah, one thing I should do is you can go research the anomaly, right? Because we're gonna have to do that at some point, right? So global pacifier, yeah, these are cool weapons. I don't usually use colossi. I actually use them in regular games more. Just pull up with a colossi, because why not? But I'm just also just so blown away at how quickly we went from almost no tech, like an embarrassing amount of tech for year 80, for example, to we're overflowing with tech now. Like 45,000 is a truly ridiculous amount, and it really shows the power of nonlinear scaling and why it's so hard to get a fair fight in a game of Stellaris these days. Because yeah, you can imagine how if one person pulls up just a few years earlier and they take you over, like they're gonna scale even harder, right? So really crazy how that works. And yeah, I think we're finally gonna go ahead and be taking this now. Moving this ship over as well, researching. I should move the Astro Crater over as well. Oh, we do have jump drives now. Except the Astro Crater doesn't get a jump drive, so that's fine. Deceptive Giant. Alright, and we won't know how large it is until we send the Astro Crater over here and start terraforming. Stormbound rises, and there we go. Let's go ahead and get that terraforming started. I'm really curious how large this barren world is. You don't really get information on that till the Astro Crater gets there, so let's go ahead and put this on fastest and kind of see what happens. Let's also build a starbase here so we can start to get that cooking and just get everything ready. Let's also create a new sector here, so let's pause for a second. Management, create a new sector. Then we're going to go to the planets and sectors tab, go to this planet and sector, and the first thing we need to do is edit the sector and just turn off auto expand and make sure we remove any attached systems. Right, until we have just one system in the sector. That's exactly what we want. And then we go back to planets and sectors and just create a vassal. We don't really care what it's called. And perfect. And then you want to release them. Release subject, perfect. And then you can go ahead and try to form a federation with them. It occurs to me I need merchant guilds to get the form federation technology. So what we're going to do here is, we need to wait 14 years to reform. Well, that's not a problem. We can wait 13 years and then form a federation with them. So that's fine, I guess. Improve relations. Boom. Establish embassy. Oh, what are we running out of now? Rare crystals. Let's just buy 1,000 of them. And buy a few of them per month as well. Our economy is honestly fine for now. Yeah, it's mostly the generator world that is getting me worried. Let's go ahead and add a couple more generator districts, a couple more support districts. Upgrade that as well. And I think we can put the class 3 singularity on here, and that will definitely give us some good returns. But we need dark matter for that, so since we can't get it from anywhere else in the galaxy, not a big problem. We can go ahead and make it via the dimensional replicators. So let's go ahead and just craft a few of those as well. And we can also, I believe, we have 600 attunement with the eaters now, which is all we need. That's enough to permanently get access to their building, so that's nice as well. And I should probably stop playing on fastest because I'm going to lose track of what's going on. First of all, let's take along how long. Okay, that is going to take forever. Absolutely forever. So first of all, just make sure terraforming gases are on. So you know what? I might as well put this in fast forward all the way through, right? I mean, I could be microwing. But yeah, I guess in the meantime, we'll just work on this. Calling of Sculpture, perfect. Clear a blocker, not a problem. Boom. Perfect. Calling of Ascension, no problem. Yeah, this is why I love the instrument as one of my favorites, because it just goes by so fast. Calling of Sculpture, 2 buildings, no problem. Oh, that's upgraded building. Boop, boop, Galactic Commerce Hubs. I don't know why I canceled that, but yeah, let's wait for that to finish. Also, show us your wares. Nope. I was hoping to get the Numa's Breath, which I still don't know how to get, by the way. Do not know how to get that one. Let's go ahead and, well, stun yet, nice. As you can see how fast the attunement moves up on this. Build a district, okay, no problem. Oh, there we go. We build a district here. Yeah, I was like, oh, we actually ran out of districts. I can't believe I'm still offering these guys tribute instead of just removing them from the game. But yeah, as you can tell, I have not been focusing on fleets, that's for sure. I'm not even sure if this is enough to take them out. It definitely isn't. Oh, where's my main fleet? Ah, there it is. There's my battleship fleet. Let's move that up. And what else? What else? Calling of Opportunity. Buildings, 3 buildings. Okay. There's one. Need a couple more, so Octocton Monument and Apis Bastions. Sure. I don't even need Apis Bastions, but like we need to build buildings. So you know what I do need? The Singularity. And to get that, we're going to need to upgrade these 3 buildings as well. The Sleeper Awakens. Is that the Khan? Okay, let's pause for a second. I did think I turned Crises off. Yeah, that's not a very happy looking battleship fleet right there. If I've ever seen one, should have disengaged them. I really thought I turned Crises off, but if I didn't, that's fine. We should be able to beat them with enough battleships here. And they cost dark matter now. Am I not producing dark matter? Well, if I'm not producing dark matter, I'm definitely buying dark matter. So let's just max out the dark matter there. And build some battleships, I guess. Yeah, we really need more alloys, eh? And I never did turn this into an Ecumenopolis, so we're definitely going to be lacking in that department. Why can't I turn this into Ecumenopolis? Oh, thank you, Composer, for putting blockers everywhere. That is a lot of blockers. I never did build the orbital ring here. Oops. Or maybe that ship got cut off or something I didn't notice. Man, I don't even know why I decided to put it around it size 12. Go ahead and ring that up. And honestly, it's not the best ratio in the world, but it's not the end of the world either. Man, this is not what I want to be dealing with this time. I want to be building my funny planet. Okay, that's fine. There's some while before the funny planet comes online. In the meantime, colossal assembly yards. Yep. And also, I should probably just group all the fleets I do have together. The Eater of Teeth fleets spawning everywhere is definitely a thing. Yeah, let's try to get all these to merge because otherwise that's just so annoying, isn't it? Yeah, these aren't very strong fleets, right? We should be able to do, like, I swear I turned the crisis off though. Come on, Khan. We're definitely not going to surrender. We don't need to do that. Although our alloys are too terrible to do much about that. So let's just play on fast, I guess. And try to deal with them on fast. Oh, you know what we could do? Is we could just change one of these nexuses to alloys, right? Not from that screen, from this screen. Alloys. And I also realized we are probably on civilian economic policies. Let's go to militarized. And yeah, this is going to cost us quite a bit of trade. But in exchange, we're going to get quite a bit of alloys. And no, did they kill my... This is the problems I create for myself by being too lazy to build fleets. Oh no. Oh no. All right, so let's slow things down a bit here so we don't mess anything up. Let's also build up some armies in case we need those. I don't even know if I'll need armies, but we're definitely losing quite a bit of minerals. That's okay. Just buy some more, I guess. This mineral planet is also super underdeveloped. I could totally just like put a quantum drilling plant down. And where'd the orbital ring on that thing go? I guess I never had one. I was too lazy to put it down, I guess. Yeah, please add an auto orbital ring button. That's what I really want. And now we got alloys, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and max this out. Did we run out of dark matter there? No, we didn't. Okay, we ran out of alloys. And there we go. Stupid con. I'm gonna have to go deal with this a little bit as well. That's the annoying thing about being the only empire in the galaxy, I guess, is that you have to deal with every little annoyance that does spawn. But it's honestly not too bad as well. Oh no! I guess the terraforming is not cancelled, which is funny. But I was like, oh no, they took our Gaia world, but the terraforming is still going. So honestly, nothing of value lost. Do I even have jump drives in all these fleets? I do. I could jump them in. I'll just fly them in. It's fine. And we can go to normal speed now as well. I think everything should be fine. Should be fine. Boom, boom. Yeah, when you have infinite pops, the game is not really hard, eh? And basically infinite resources, but it's a bit annoying to take advantage of. Yeah, just buy 3,000 minerals, I guess, because we can. Boom, boom. How's our armies doing? I swear I was making some mega warforms. Oh, not even the first batch have finished because they're so slow. Okay, that makes sense. And guess I need armies to get that back, and then I need to re-release it as a vassal. That is so funny. Okay, let's jump some armies over. Hopefully that's enough. I didn't check how much army stronghold they have. Just gonna do my leader upgrades now, and we have them back. Okay. Uh, do I count as in a war right now, or can I re-release this as a vassal right away? Planets and sectors. Create vassal. Boom. See, you guys need my protection, guys. Establish an embassy, release subject. And then, do we need to rebuild the starbase? We do, don't we? 600 and something influence, whatever. We have the +5 influence. We're doing fine. Calling of Sculpture is done now as well. I haven't been checking that for a while. Calling of Opportunity, build districts, sure. No districts there to be built. Any districts here to be built? Nope. Okay, let's clear some of the blockers and then do it. Oh, I hate these blockers, by the way. It makes it so hard. This blocker's already being cleared. Okay. Go ahead and finish that off. Then go into decisions. And really quickly, no, not Mastery of Nature, Arcology Project. Nope. Nope. Okay, build this, and very quickly, then Arcology Project. And let's just see how our fleets are doing. And they started expanding when I wasn't paying attention. Okay, that makes sense. Should I be splitting my fleets up? Yeah, I have 300,000 fleet right there. Yeah, I just realized my fleets must be ridiculously strong per ship at this point because they've been through so many repeatables at 65k cat tech that it must be kind of insane, right? Kind of insane. Okay, how is this doing? How close are you to done? Oh my gosh, it's gonna finish in like less than a year. Gotta protect it. Oh yeah, I should have built the Colossus as well, so let's do that. Ship designer, Colossus. Where are you, Colossus? There you are. And Deluge Machine. Yeah, that's what we want. You got the jump drive as well. Yep, you have the jump drive. Very nice. And this design already exists, so I just need to build it. Okay. Shipyard. Boom. Oh, that takes a while. That takes a fat minute. Let's go ahead and speed that up. I think... Where is Fleet Supremacy? I already have that on, so I think there's one more edict that speeds up fleet production. A Grand Fleet. Oh, you already have that on. Nope. Maybe there's a different one. Desperate Measures. No. No. Yeah, Architectural Renaissance is something we could turn on. Alright. Anyways, the main goal right now should be cleaning up the con. I should stop faffing around and just finish that up. Honestly, big battleship fleet, let me split you up into two, hopefully equal parts. You know what? We'll just deathball. We'll just linearly deathball, select a whole bunch of systems, and hope it gets cleaned up. And then I have to go fly into the south and do that too. Amenities, happiness, automatic resettlements chance. That sounds pretty good. And ooh, a size 55. Nice. Okay, that is really awesome. So size 55 means good things. Means good things for sure. Also, let's just go ahead and make a save. This is the first save I'm going to make, to be honest, I think. Big planet. Awesome. So, yeah, that's awesome. Size 55. That's the biggest gas giant I've seen so far. I'm not sure if it's the biggest possible. It could be, it could not be. We're not going to colonize it yet, right? Because we need to deluge. Or deluge. You know what? We're not going to make a fool of ourselves. Can this battleship fleet jump? No, it can't jump. Let's go ahead and move it backwards manually to defend the home sector, and then this can go clean up everything else, hopefully. You know what I should do is just send one of these ships to go just do like everything, right? Because I have all these science ships lying around. Why not use them? You know what I wish there also was? Like auto patrol. Like I would love to send like my ship fleets out on patrol where they just go and murder everything that's like hostile to us. That would be great. I want that. Can I have an auto patrol feature? That's what I really want. Where did my main fleet go? Because it has kind of left some other ships behind. With this as the capital of the new sector, by the way, there's still going to be quite a few new planets. And yeah, this also is occurring to me how crazy it was that really the cloud stance anomaly in this world was literally like the last possible. Almost. Like there's probably like 10 systems left, right? So maybe it is guaranteed to spawn. And I was just unlucky and it was in the last possible system there. or something else. We'll never really know. Anyway, I'm like getting used to trying to like just max speed these fleets for cleanup. I'm not sure if this is the best strategy. It would definitely be better to split this thing up, but let's go ahead and do that actually. Oh my god, do you see the amount of tech from that anomaly? Yeah, this is what I meant. If you want to save your anomalies for late game, you can get truly ridiculous tech numbers out of them. Um, Not normally worth it because you normally don't get 200 anomalies to yourself, right? So other people end up doing them, and you can even go into other people's borders and do their anomalies as well, which is quite funny. Um, so yeah, you definitely don't want to delay your anomalies normally speaking, but if in case it does happen, you get some crazy numbers from finishing these anomalies now. And yeah, as you can see, our economy is pretty stable to be honest, but it's because we're not getting an insane pot growth right now. And once that does start happening, bot job efficiency for cybernetics, job efficiency of machine pops, robot upkeep minus 20%. That looks amazing. That looks absolutely amazing. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Or we can probably use Nyas after this as like a support sector for economy, right? Like trade focus, and then we can use the big planet as well, just producing the most insane amount of resources, specifically tech, for the thumbnail, right? That is the main goal of getting a planet this size again, and I think our Colossus weapon should be done right now, right? No, it isn't. Um, how long is that shipyard? Wow. So let's just go fastest so that can finish up as fast as it can. And then in the meantime, try to clean up all these fleets here. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I think we also probably want to adopt merchant guilds at some point, but I probably want to do that after I get the. I swear I had a fleet around here. Um. Okay, let's just send this remaining bit of fleet at whatever this is. Like all these little horde remnants are annoying me now, so let's go ahead and just clean everything up here. Ah, both my main fleets are down here. Okay, I see. And hey, on fastest, that honestly wasn't too bad, even though I'm now completely ignoring everything else in my game, um, including probably the Colossus. Void Worms eradicated. Thank God. Screw Void Worms. No, we can send these fleets around everywhere, right? Like just go clean up all the random loose junk in this galaxy, and we have a nice clean galaxy. How have these guys, by the way, not expanded one block? Do you have no resources at all? Are you bankrupt or something? Probably. Probably. Anyways, let's go ahead and go through this. So we need to find this entity now. And in order to do that, let's go ahead and first, it should be in the situation log somewhere. Oh my god, our situation log is really crammed. So let's just go ahead and research these and see what we find. We could also have the Whispers replace it, right? If the Whispers is the last covenant there. And then our Colossus weapon, is that done yet? Nope, still a year. Pale Mountain emerges. Oh, I guess that's one of the minor patrons, or like one of these. Like, what do these do? Defense armies per psionic mentor is very cool. Miners, pop efficiency, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I feel like this thing just takes too long to move around in it unless you're really trying to min-max for that. Which I guess I would say is kind of worth sometimes, but not always. And hey, the Shroud Teacher survived. Nice. We seek Master of the Shroud. Commune with other Shroud entities. Go ahead and support that. And that should definitely be the Shroud entity we're looking for. Go ahead and commune with the Harmonious One. The Harmonious One. And there we go. May we grow closer to the Cradle of Souls. And this is where we want to start to do fun stuff. So establish a migration treaty. Hello, my friends. Would you like to establish a migration treaty? No, you would not somehow. Let's assign a couple envoys to you. And how do we not have trust? You're literally me. I saved you from the crisis earlier. Also, why are we not killing this and not killing that? Kill that. And is the rest of the horde cleaned up now? The Khan? Silly Khan. Yeah, let's clean all of that up. And oh yeah, our planet cracker should be done just about now. There we go. Send it over. I guess we'll jump it over here. Whoops. Yeah, this is, as you can see, this is why I don't play competitive multiplayer anymore. Imagine me trying to micro my ships with this level of skill in competitive. It would just be uh, a bit of a sad moment. Man, this planet looks so cool, by the way. It is freaking massive. It is so crazy to think that if you're lucky enough, you can get this in a regular Stellaris game. In fact, I have gotten both the Astro Creator and Cloud's Dance in a regular Stellaris game before, but I didn't have a build that really takes advantage of it. Um, but yeah, I can go through my saves, and I always make a save in every like game I'm playing when I hit Astro Creator. So I have like a dozen saves where I just have the Astro Creator, but it's in some random build that couldn't really get big advantages from the Astro Creator itself. And there we go. Now we have a size 55 ocean world, and we can go ahead and colonize this. Very, very nice. Very nice. Also, I wonder, we should probably create a new species template that is just to max out this, right? Because we have the maximum number of trait picks we could have, right? So we definitely want to get rid of that. And to be honest, we don't need recycled. And instead, we could probably go with, simply speaking, adaptive frames. And the exotic gas trait would be good, but we're going to have so many pops, it's going to use up all our gas. So instead of that, we could probably go with something just like durable, right? To make it like a generally good pop. Go ahead and create that, and then set that as the default species for our empire, of which currently we have 115,000 pops, and very soon that is going to change for the higher, the much, much higher. And I just realized we need to start expanding into this sector before this entire sector is this enclave. So let's go ahead and do that, because they're finally starting to expand, right? I probably want to grab at least a couple planets in this sector, because they'll be really efficient for building support on, like, there's a size 24 ocean that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps, right? Which means it's going to be exactly in the sector, which is nice. And yeah, oh my god, yeah, it's going to be so cool to see an entire galaxy that is just all my anomalies completed too. Yeah, I was feeling a little discouraged when I thought the cloud stance wasn't going to spawn earlier, and now we're feeling really good again. I just realized we can just jump this colony ship over, give it a little speed up. I was like, where is my colony ship? You could just jump over, right? Yeah, you can. Jumping colony ships is funny. Like, still having planets to colonize when you already have jump drives is pretty awesome. You know what I probably should also do is 34 minerals. I should probably build just a habitat station for the basic resources. Obviously, it won't keep up with energy, but it would definitely keep up with like minerals and such. And then I have no idea how we're going to keep up in consumer goods and energy credits, but hopefully the Trade Federation can help with that. So, anyhow, let's go ahead and get started here. Let's offer a migration treaty. And let's get this attunement done as quickly as we can. There we go. Defensive pact. Form a defensive pact. Boom. Very nice. One more migration treaty again. That's annoying. I don't have some other empire to form another migration treaty with. Yeah. Oh well, we'll just have to wait the year then. That's not a big deal. Pirate fleet. Can't these little shroud fragments deal with that, or do I have to? Holy! I hate the Eater. Like, stop spamming me with just these millions of fleets. I should get rid of it for the Whispers when I can. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep getting spammed by these fleets. Like, yeah, who needs the minor patrons when you have to deal with that? Ooh, Ascension. Oh, that's remove the cost. I thought that was remove the cap, which would be way better, to be honest. Calling of displacement. You know what? Just assign envoys, I guess. Assign envoys. By the way, do we have this planet colonized yet? How do we say that? Tourist Prime. Tourist Prime, you're gonna be the most epic planet one day. But for now, you can have a robot manufacturing nexus. And yeah, I guess we can just start with the cities. No, no, no. We'll start with expand planetary seas, which we probably don't have active yet because we don't have any ice mining stations, which can be easily solved. Ice mining station. And just look around for secondary ones so we can do it more than once. Or can we use one sequentially 3 times with just one ice mining station? I don't actually know. Not a big deal. Since we have enough systems, we can just go ahead and look out for other ice mining stations. Boom. There we go. That's the 3. Also, it looks like we didn't get any other lucky things here. Um, as I have mentioned before, it is possible to roll the seismic disturbances event on a terraformed world like this. I believe, I'm not honestly 100% sure, but if you do, I mean, you could get even larger planet sizes from that. And I have all those things linked in the video description as below as well on what I believe to be the maximum planet size that you can get. But yeah, I mean, I believe it's 103 districts is the most districts you could possibly get, which is just like bonkers to think about. But I mean, it would be so diabolically hard to actually pull that off in a real game. Because think about the amount of RNG that I already bypassed to get here. I didn't have to wait that 1% chance every 5 years, meaning on average you'd have to wait like what? Probably a little over 500 years to get the Astro Crater, which is honestly not that bad when you think about it, when you can leave the game on AFK. But crazy things happen when you leave the game on AFK, so it is tough. Let's go ahead and go favorite society here. I don't even know why I'm thinking about those anymore. Let's take architectural interest also wherever we can, just to speed up the building of this planet, as I think this is what we're going to do with it, right? Like, just so many city districts, but we're not going to do that yet, and the main reason is, first, I want to get the planetary sea expansions done, as this is the most finicky part of the build. So yeah, let me just make sure that I've also claimed the immediate vicinity sector, which is what we need. And before we go fully max speed, we should also finish up this Shroud Covenant as well. Calling of Trade. Okay, we can definitely do. That'll definitely help our buddies out here a bit if we form a commercial pact with them. So let's go ahead and do that. The Great Khan is dead. Nice. This is honestly too fast. Horde reverts to old ways. What horde? I don't see no horde. Calling of Trade. Did that not work? What? Look at that tech. I can't even read that number off the top of my head. Is that 10 million or 1 million? I literally couldn't count the digits without the commas. Makes you realize how important something like that is, eh? And look at the text flying by as well. It's crazy. Uh, Space fauna. Like, what am I even like? There's so many pop-ups. Stop popping up. I'm trying to do this. Did I not establish a commercial pact? Form commercial pact. Confirm. Why would they ever say no to that? It's like vastly beneficial for them. There we go. Okay. I must have misclicked or something. Let's go ahead and keep going. Trade deal, defensive pact. Perfect. I already have one. Okay. I guess we'll have to do this the hard way. Here we go. Shroud Teacher. We seek Mastery of the Shroud. We seek further attunement. Cradle of Souls. And we can just keep doing this. I guess the other way to do this would be just turn that into the Whispers, and it'll be way faster, right? Yeah, let in the Whispers. And, Cradle of Souls, I love you, but you take too long to satisfy. So Whispers instead, and I think we should be able to form a federation, right? No, we can't. Uh-oh. Why can't we form a federation? Do they not love us enough? Our war philosophy allows wars of aggression. Oh, okay, so these are solvable problems. So let me slow down for a second, because we absolutely need this trade fed. So I think the play here is unironically to get rid of lubrication tanks, right? Pleasure Seekers already goes infinite with pop assembly speed, especially with Fallen Empire buildings, and take merchant guilds. This will allow us to have the best late game and it will allow us to form a trade fed, and then we can modify out of it again in 20 years if that's a problem. So let's go ahead and go Director of Trade, just select a high level leader, Divine Conduit, select any level 10 leader, Head of Education, reducing upkeep I think will be pretty big, and then we don't even need a Shroud Teacher anymore to be honest, just go with a Head of Research, and something that boosts happiness is nice. Perfect, nice council there. Next thing we need to do is Please the Whispers, which should be pretty easy. Complete an Arcology Site or Astral Rift. That shouldn't be too hard. Let's find some science ships lying around. I'm sure we have some. Anything with no orders, let's just go ahead and tell them to do everything, and they'll eventually get around to doing what we asked for. Wow, there's so many upgrades to go through. Just go ahead and select everything, and that should be done in no time at all. What's happening over here? Raiding fleet. Okay. Well, we can send all these little shards at them, I guess. Where is our main fleet? I've been sending it on a bit of a round trip to Narnia, right? Like, it's got to be somewhere. Oh, there it is. You know what? Let's just park this over here for safety's sake. Size 5, size 5, and size 3 Barren World is funny. Alright, perfect. Now let's go ahead and go back to our main planet here and just continue expanding sea and then go into the next thing. So yeah, I think now also, oh yeah, what I was actually trying to do was get a trade fed. So to get a trade fed, let's see why they don't like it. Where do I have to hover again? Why am I losing my brain? There we go. Our war philosophy allows wars of aggression. So I need to turn that off. War philosophies. Defensive wars, I believe, is what they probably want. And if that's not the right option, oops, that's 10 years gone. And now we can form a federation. Perfect. We can form a trade league. And I'm waiting for it. Ta-da! Trade fed. Nice. And now that solves our energy issues, which will allow us to not have to worry about energy issues while we go for pops, which is really nice. Also, we should get a ring world going. Wherever our builder ships are. Go ahead and put you on passive. Why do I have to tell you to attack the thing that's attacking my planet? Oh my gosh. Stellaris Micro be like, raiding fleet destroyed, orbital ring, perfect. And now I believe we can go to fastest. And yes, we're a little short on consumer goods. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to disable one of these. And yeah, like we really don't need the tech at this point, right? And now we can just go fastest and start getting this planet going. And this is going to be pretty boring because it's just going to be expand planetary sea, expand planetary sea, expand planetary sea, and fastest is also not that fast anymore. Oh my gosh, the speed at which we're getting anomaly pop-ups and stuff is ridiculous. But I also want to record this entire video for transparency's sake, right? I do want to kind of show that at no point in this video was it required to use any commands except for getting the Astro Crater, right? And oh my god, these modifiers are just crazy. Boom. I think we have one more expand planetary sea. These things are not speed upable, right? So they're so slow, but we really do want to get the biggest possible planet, which I think is just such a cool concept, right? Expand planetary sea one more time after this. Do 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 do. Yeah, this is definitely pretty boring. This is not peak grade A content. Please let me know, by the way, if you're watching this video, what you think of content like this. Do you prefer the more cut up, more condensed videos, or do you prefer these drawn out, more detail oriented and like long term videos? I suspect that most people probably like the cut up videos more, and nobody's actually watching at this point. But I'm also just kind of curious, right? Like, if I am wrong, uh, like, what would you like to see differently? And also, if you're still watching at this point, thank you so much. You are an absolute legend. Oh my god, how are we still getting pop-ups? I guess we're just going to keep getting so many because there's so many anomalies that we're going to go through here. However, yeah, that is a lot of city districts, isn't it? We can go ahead and clear out all these blockers as well. And also just make sure we're getting the last bit of the whispers here. Uh, oh yeah, perfect. We are somehow max attunement with them already. Perfect. We can go ahead and delve. Oh, do we get another invisible leader here? Cronin the Afflicted. Perfect. I don't think they ever get the Shroud Sheeper trait, but they get the Chosen One trait, which is kind of cool. Um, and yeah, at this point, like even this planet's like pop scaling is probably it's already getting back up there from the infinite scaling. However, yeah, it's gonna take so long for this thing to scale up because well, it's just so many districts. And to be honest, I think you guys kind of get the idea here. So I'm gonna cut until this planet is fully upgraded and we can start putting buildings on it because this is really boring. We've seen the entire process up to this point, which is the hardest point, I would say. And then everything after this is just a matter of letting it happen and then showcasing the final results. So, yeah, it's been 3 hours. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to cut to now when we're really starting to get this planet rolling. Right, guys, there's one thing I forgot. There's one more thing left to do, and I'm going to make a save before I do this in case I do it wrong. And that is we need to slay the dragon, right? And I've been told you can move the parade location through the situation log, so like I completely believe that. And I think I tested it in another world, and it was indeed true. And I'm just gonna make this save just in case I do something completely wrong and I have to reload. But let's go ahead and jump our battleships back into our capital and take out this dragon. Why can't I jump? Jump. Jump. Did I jump the other ship? It's crazy that this late in the game I don't have jump drives on all my fleets. Is it the Teeth of the Eater that don't have jump drives? Or is it something else that doesn't have jump drives? Anyway, I'm sorry, Harazgar. Um, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Harazgar. I feel so bad. He's been waiting here all this time and we're just gonna murder him in cold blood. No, I feel so bad. And here come the battleships. And he just gets eviscerated. Poor guy, man. Start situation, Leviathan Parade opportunity. And this is where I have to reorganize it. So total progress is greater than 50. Yeah, this is what I guess I didn't see last time. Is you have to click reorganize here. And then you get a decision. So we go to the planet where you want the decision on it. And then we can go ahead and relocate parade here. And now we will get the Sky Dragons parade correctly over this planet. And once again, this will be mentioned in the build guide description because, yeah, that's probably going to be pretty helpful. And let's go ahead and now fast forward until the parade happens. And we get the Sky Dragons parade here, right? Fungal emitters. By the way, if there's any other ways you know how to... Oh, you know what? Can we get the cancel the parade? No, we can't cancel the parade. Definitely don't want to cancel the parade. So yeah, let's go ahead and finish this up now. And yeah, look at how fast the city districts build. And this would get even faster with other builds, right? But boom, and we have now the Sky Dragons Parade modifier, which for some reason gives plus 20% max districts. I have no idea why it gives max districts, to be honest. But now we have that many more city districts to build. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we're going to cut back now to when this is fully done building. And we can have just one of the most crazy big planets available now. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, I completely forgot to do this at the beginning, but you should maximize the planetary ascension on your colonies, and this will give you a nice bonus to the speed at which buildings build at, so yeah, you can do that at the beginning and save some time. Alright everyone, and our insanely sized world is now in a Cumulonipolis, just like that. And the first thing we need to do is honestly restore some of the effectiveness. We did move our Shroud Creature over here, so our basic economy is a bit of a disaster for this stage of the game. So the first thing we're going to do is probably build all the Psycore buildings. This is our new capital, so we just need some more pops here. So let's first start by, I guess, manually migrating some pops from Nyaz, which has probably hundreds of thousands of civilians at this point. We're just going to click until we get bored. So probably just move this stack of civilians, and that should be more than enough to max out the capital building here. So let's start with doing that. And then also over here on Nyaz, we can get rid of any Sanctum buildings we have, as we're going to want all the Sanctum buildings on our massive, what is this, size 58 planet here. And with the dragon districts this time, so definitely effectively a lot larger. And you can stack more modifiers up to this, right? I don't know how many districts we actually have, 70 it looks like, but yeah, I believe you can get over 100 by stacking even more modifiers that are increasingly harder to get, I would say. So this is definitely about the practical limit. So yeah, let's build all 4 Sanctum buildings now. So that's going to take quite a bit of space on this planet in and of itself. And then we're going to want to build a few robot manufacturing nexuses. These are just to get the snowballing effect underway, so we can start stacking civilians, because before we can start stacking civilians, our pop growth is, I would say, very reasonable. And then the other thing we need to do now is just move a ridiculous amount of pops over here, and I think they should start immigrating, to be honest. Yeah, and just get the snowball effect going. Right now we don't have lubrication tanks anymore like we had earlier to get the snowball rolling, so it won't be as fast as it was on Nyaz. Did I even call my capital Nyaz? Yeah, of course I called my capital Nyaz, even though we are definitely not cat girls. Anyhow, this is going to take a while to build up as well, so we're just going to go ahead and hit the fast forward and see where this ends up. I'm kind of curious. Let's see this pop assembly in live time and watch it just increase. Amazing. Yeah, I guess every single one of these Sanctum buildings will give a little boost because the pops will get more efficient. And then after that, we're going to have to wait for the traders to fill up before we start to get anything crazy, right? So, yeah, the traders need to sustain themselves, which is why you need a trade fed or you will run out of energy. That is not, like, debatable. You absolutely require a trade fed. And then the other thing we need is we need galactic commerce hubs. And the reason we need galactic commerce hubs is galactic commerce hubs, while there are so many pop-ups, holy, I'm just clicking enter. That's a nice fun fact, by the way, is if you ever need to close a whole bunch of windows and you don't know what button to click, you can actually spam the spacebar button and that will close them. And yeah, we can watch as our assembly speed goes up and up and up. We're up to 41, and yeah, I just kind of do want to share the process of building this planet out as well, because I just want to show that, like, this is possible, right? You saw the galaxy settings at the beginning. They're all kind of stock, and I wouldn't say easy to do, but very possible. Like, they're just normal galaxy settings, right? You don't need to turn off logistics growth modifiers or anything like that. All this growth is possible with essentially the only change being you need to find the astro crater either by luck or, in my case, by command. And then this is all going to be kind of straightforward after that. The super ultra rare users are, of course, coming from Cosmogenesis Fallen Empire buildings. So there's that. And then the rest is just various DLCs. I honestly, at this point, like, I've had all the DLCs for so long, I could not tell you which DLCs give you what. It just feels like the game to me, and I'm always shocked when I join multiplayer and find I join a thing without, like, missing, like, one DLC or something. And it's like, wow, all these different things that I use every game are not possible. And yeah, take a look at how fast the pops are assembling. 57. Like, this is why robots are just so much better than bio. To get 57 pop assembly on bio, you have to jump through so many hoops, and here it just kind of happens on its own. And we have 100 stability as well, which is amazing. We still have to offer tribute, apparently, even though we're in the year 2392. Yes, I almost never play this late, but it is definitely amazing to be this late in the game and still be having fun. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish these off. I think one thing we're going to need to do is we need to put a state academy somewhere, right? Can we even put a state academy on one of these? We can! Awesome. So let's put a singular state academy. That'll get that going. We have the orbital Psycore building, right? So we don't need to put that on our capital. We can save some space. Eventually, we won't even need a robot manufacturing plant, so we can save that space as well and produce trade instead. Um, I do think that you can't upgrade the State Academy because no, I think actually you can, right? Because the motes consumption is not per pop, so you definitely can. Um, and I guess we could even upgrade this. And then at this point, yeah, we're just waiting for this plant to fill up. Let's go ahead and put a commercial nexus zone on absolutely everything. Commercial nexus, commercial nexus. Um, and I think after that, it's just more and more commercial nexus sticks. Like, how much trade is this planet gonna make? Does anyone have any guesses, guys? I don't. Like, it could be just it could be nonsense numbers. But we're gonna wait for this big queue of buildings to finish, and then we'll be back. All right, everyone. So after some time, the trader jobs have now been filled up. As you can see, this planet is fully developed, and now we are starting to pile on civilians. And this is when things start to get exponential. As we start to get civilians, you're going to see that our pop assembly speed is going to gradually increase. And it's going to increase at an exponentially increasing rate until we have to very quickly manage to stop the pop production before our game starts to overflow and begin to act wonky. If you're doing this with lubrication tanks enabled, which we are not, you have to be even more careful because you go from like a reasonable number of pop assembly, like say in the tens of thousands, to millions in like literal months. And when you get into the millions of pop assembly, you really need to stop because your economy just like explodes instantly, and then you're kind of cooked. As it stands right now, we're actually still pretty comfortable, right? Like we have 211,000 trade. Also, keep in mind if your trade goes too high, your economy also explodes because you overflow and go into the negatives, which is obviously definitely a problem. So you want to be careful about that and kind of disable pop assembly at the right time. Anyhow, let's go ahead and resume. I accidentally clicked tab there, and as you can see, as the civilian, I'm paused. As the civilians build up, like it gets really ridiculous really quickly. And even though it starts off slow, it's kind of before you know it, there's two exponential feedback loops going at the same time right here with civilians feeding the efficiency of the pop assembly jobs, and then the number of pop assembly jobs feeding into the psionic mentors or the telepaths, and then the telepaths feeding into the efficiency of everything. And before you know it, your economy is both incredible and terrible at the same time, and I kind of can't wait for that to happen. In the meantime, you can develop other worlds, right? You have more than enough pops, so any world you make can be filled instantly. So, for example, if we needed more allies, we don't. But if we needed more alloys, we could develop an alloy world here. No problems with that. We have tons of buildings available. We don't have the hyperforges available because you need to do a couple tier 5 cosmogenesis techs, which are dangerous, and we're using auto techs, so we're not going to find them. Which is fine. We don't need to find those techs. As you can imagine, with the amount of resources we have now, we're not going to have any problems dealing with anything in the galaxy that isn't another player basically playing what I would basically describe as a cheating ass build, because that's essentially what this is, right? These builds are just so completely, utterly unfair compared to playing regular Stellaris, where like look at these numbers. I mean, are they real? Like the alloy number is very achievable, to be honest. That's like a year 40 or 50 number for a lot of builds these days. But everything else, like what? Where is my alloy world, by the way? Where did it go? There it is. Yeah. What? Like, why is this producing so little alloys? Oh, it's because you know what? It's because we don't have the orbital ring building, right? I've been forgetting about that for the longest time now. And what is a biofurnace? Produced. Alloys produced per farmer. Cool. I don't think I've ever seen this biofurnace tech before, to be honest. It's the first time I've gotten it, probably. So, anyhow, not a big deal. You put an ancient refinery on here too. Why not? We have plenty of minerals. Let's just cover everything with um, alloy production buildings, I guess. Get it over 1k. When you're over 1k, it looks a lot better than under it. And if we check back to this world, we're at 15,000 civilians now, and increasing. I guess it doesn't increase that rapidly without lubrication tanks, so I guess I should swap over to lubrication tanks and kind of just show you guys how quickly this gets funny, right? So I don't want to take off merchant guilds, I don't want to take off pleasure seekers, I don't want to take off civilian education, so that is a problem. But you know what, let's make a save here just in case things go disastrous wrong. Disaster prevention. Excuse my typing. And let's show you guys what happens if you go lubrication tanks, because it is taking longer than I thought to go exponential, to be honest. Let's just take off merchant guilds. This is going to nosedive our basic economy, by the way. So let's go ahead and go with lubrication tanks. And yes, this is like a caution moment. So first, let's replace the council. Just make sure everything is still great there. Divine conduit. Boom. The head of research, sure. And Minister of Defense. We don't need a Minister of Defense. We could instead use a head of education. And let's pick one more here. Shroudwalker teacher. Shroudwalker teacher, sure. And then also let's finish this guy's traits up because he still has traits to go, which is pretty funny. Great researcher, sure. Oh my god, not even all our leaders are max level. I mean, we could just pass these agendas until they're max level, to be honest. Let's not do that now, right? Let's go ahead and start time. First of all, I'm kind of curious. Let's go on fast and see. Yeah, like we lost a big chunk of consumer goods there, but now let's go back to this planet and let's enable the lubrication tanks. So in order to activate lubrication tanks, we're going to have to delete one of these. And we're going to replace it with a heavy industry here. So let's just go ahead and do that on fastest. And boom. As you can see, our fastest is not as fast as it used to be at the beginning of the game either. Thank you, AI, for expanding and making my game slower. And then let's build the hyper lubrication basin. And this is where we probably need to be pretty careful. I'm a bit worried, to be honest, already that like our pop assembly speed is immediately gonna like be too stupid. Let's go ahead and take a look. Is that 300,000 or 32,000? That's 32,000, 50,000. Next month, 100,000. Next month after that, 161,200. And this is what I meant. You go infinite so fast. Like you blink and it's irreversible. Like how many pops do we want, guys? How many pops do we want? Uh-oh. You know, we have 100% stability. Can we do this forever? Nope, nope, nope. We went too far, guys. We went too far. Like, how many months too far was that? Like 2.1 million pops, and our consumer goods overflowed. Or is it because of this? Like, are we actually negative, or are we making negative consumer goods? No, we're just using too much. So let's downgrade this one tier. Let's disable the lubrication plant. Just demolish it. You know, we don't even want to think about that. And replace it with a commercial arcology again. And let's take a look at this. Is this sustainable? Yeah, it is. Okay, nice. We are losing a bit of energy credits. Oh no, what will our 13 million trade do about that? Oh no, we're losing 4 motes, guys. We're losing 4 motes per month. Let's go ahead and buy 10 and solve that issue. I don't know why I'm buying 10. I have 13 million trade, 12 million technology. And yeah, at this point, like, can we keep going? You know what? We have a save. You know what? Screw it. Replace Foundry arcology. Let's go again, right? Or unspecialized arcology. I think we could increase this further, right? I think we can only use one of those. Oh, we found a problem. Right, we have 3,000 alloy upkeep. So we need a better alloy world. Let's convert one of these into a better alloy world and keep going. So, yeah, we need to turn these into EQs, but I think, can we buy 4,000 alloys for now? I think we can, right? 13 million trade, that's got to be able to do that. So let's just buy 5,000 alloys for now. Do we produce enough trade to upkeep the alloys with trade even at a maximum buy price? I think we do. One thing we should definitely also do is, on every planet that we can, I believe there is a trade building, the Galactic Stock Exchange, that lowers the buy price universally, I believe. Does it do that? I don't remember if it does that. Let's see. Does it say? Yeah, market fee minus 5%. Yeah, exactly. So it universally lowers the buy price of things. So if you stack enough of those, then you can really leverage buying things off the market as a main source of them. Why are we not buying 5,000 alloys? 6,000 alloys? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We went too far. Uh-oh. We should have stuck away from loop tanks, shouldn't we have? Uh-oh, what is going on over here? Are we just assembling too fast? Like, what is going on? Let's pause. Pause, pause, pause. 16,000. 16,000 pop assemblies. Not that fast. Why is our upkeep running away? Jobs? Sure. Okay, first of all, let's go back to a commercial nexus here. And let's get rid of every single one of these. We don't want a single one. Disable, or let's just downgrade and demolish them. I'm like really curious to see like if this is controllable at all as well. Why am I deleting the thing I want? Oh my god. Downgrade, demolish. Like, I think we can just buy enough alloys to offset this, to be honest. And yeah, you only do 5,000 buys at a time, but you can do as many of these 5,000 buys as you want. So there we go. Hopefully that'll bring us into the positive. Disable, demolish, demolish, and demolish. Demolish. Yep, and then we can go into here and disable the remaining roboticist jobs to freeze the amount of pops we have right now. Yeah, we don't even want 4,000 assembly, right? We want to completely disable that. And then, oh yeah, our economy is completely sustainable. 18 million trade. Like, yeah, buying alloys at max price literally does nothing with this amount of trade. Okay, good to know. So I guess the build is scaled by how fast you are willing to keep adding alloy trades. So that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Yeah, honestly, if you could buy more alloys in one go, right? Like, um, if instead of being limited to 5,000 per trade, this was uncapped, so you could just keep spamming shift click, then it would be pretty manageable, right? You could go to 10 million, 20 million, 30, 100 million. Like, it wouldn't matter, right? Like, you would just keep going. Because this trade just sustains your empire so well. This is amazing. And the tax 17 million off of one state academy. With 2.5 million pops. This is incredible. I'm enjoying this. This did take me over 4 hours of gameplay to set up. And yeah, like look at these numbers, man. 76,000 throw, like 5.6 million tech. Oh my god. Let's go ahead and finish these last commercial hubs up as well, because I'm really curious to see just the amount of trade. I obviously don't want to overflow trade. If I overflow these numbers, that's not good. And I don't remember what the numbers overflow at. Is it 2 billion or something? I have no idea like how Stellaris is coded, so I think for most coding languages it'd be 2 billion, but where are we losing motes from? Is the State Academy use motes? I guess we could just buy like thousands of those, right? Why not 1,011 motes? Like, it literally does not impact the trade number. The trade number is not affected. Huh? Do we have a negative runaway on motes? Uh, what is going on here? Why am I making negative 27 motes? Hmm? Okay, well, what? Negative. Okay, there we go. I guess we bought so many. The mote number definitely overflows pretty easily. The trade number doesn't overflow as easily. Um, yeah, as you can see though, it's like an absolute mess to play at these numbers. Like, it's definitely not practical. Like, it's easier to win the game without this, right? But how amazing is this? How many telepaths do we have? We have 103,000 telepaths. Guys, we have 103,000 telepaths. You know what? Let's go for a million telepaths. Why not? Why not? Like let's just finish building up all the rest of the buildings on fastest here, and then we'll change this back into um. We'll re-enable some of these. Actually, we'll just re-enable the roboticists as is, right, and see what we get here. This is the same as having 158,000 roboticists, 110,000 pop assembly, which is funny because that feels like zero, right? Like that feels like zero with this build. Um, 2.6 million, 2.7 million. Oh no, we're negative 1,000 alloys again. Oh my god. Spy 10,000. I hate the 3. Get rid of the 3. It's because when you click the buy, it starts with 3. So then when you shift click up, like, yeah, this is like an APM test, isn't it? It's just like how many 4,000 alloy buy orders can I put in, and I'm still always negative. What? Is my alloy number overflowed? Why am I losing alloys? Oh, you know what we need? We need bigger storages. I'm buying more alloys than I can stuff in the storages. I think that's what's going on here. So obviously we don't need energy credits. So let's replace these with shrink space depots and see if that helps. And let's also turn these into forge worlds because it looks like we're. Is there a way to get alloys from pops? If there's a way to get alloys from pops, that solves this entire build problem, right? Where we go infinite on every resource except for alloys, so we can't sustain it. Yeah, we really don't need minerals, don't we? Let's just pick a random planet though. That just in case. I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking I'll need that. I definitely won't. Where is the? Oh yeah, you can only build them on like the resource support districts, right? So let's go ahead and just colonize a planet here or something. I don't know. Why do I have different species now? Okay, yeah. So it was a buying issue. Like our storage couldn't fit the amount of alloys we're trying to buy. So as soon as we had the shrink space, we have negative 1G unity, guys. What does that mean, negative 1G unity? Oh my god. Also, the pops are still going infinite. You know what? I'm a chaos of agent of chaos. Let's go back to let's go back to lubrication tanks. What is causing devastation here? Cosmic storm? Don't matter. 22 million. What is going on, guys? What is going on? 20% devastation is crazy, by the way. We need like a storm shield or something, a storm repulsor array. Can we get one of those? Storm repulsor, storm repulsor, storm repulsion. Get one of these. What does this do? Increases Nord output. Yeah, I'm sure we need that, right? we're only making 20,000 alloys per month. Okay. So yeah, it turns out you can buy enough to easily offset this. So let's go ahead and keep this going now. Let's go re-enable the hyperlubrication basin. And watch funny things happen. Why is the devastation 28%? Stop it. Repel the storm. Push it away. Push it away. Oh, it's not done yet. Okay, let's just do that. 28% devastation is crazy. 29? This storm is crazy. Extremely corrosive winds. Okay, stop being so corrosive. We just have to watch out for overflow. Uh-oh, 12 million. Uh-oh. Disable. Okay, pause. Minerals? I didn't think minerals would become a problem. Let's buy some more minerals. Why are minerals a problem? Is it from the storm? Minerals from jobs minus 30%? What is costing me minerals here? Specialists? There's 600 metallurgists. Why are there metallurgists in the first... Oh, right. Uh-oh. Our energy's overflowed. Negative 3 million. Yeah, that is not a good number. Produced? The number is positive, but suspiciously small. So, we found the limit, guys. We definitely found the limit. Because at this point, I think we're just... Yeah, we're negative 15 million debt. Okay, let's go back. Load game. Like, the game is just completely broken at this point, right? But I want to find the point before the game completely breaks. that is still fun, right? Because that's kind of where we want to be honest, right? Like we want the game to be completely broken, but have funny numbers for a screenshot, and the game be theoretically playable at that point, right? Like, and also, nope, no, we're already long past that point. At this point, let's go ahead and load an earlier save. I should be careful here. I could easily break this whole save, and I'd be pretty sad. But at least I would have me breaking it on camera, right? So, okay, at this point, we've already overflowed on energy, and we are at 15 million pops. Really? That was already overflowed? Okay, let's go earlier than that then. Um, let's go here. I think this should be fine. And then, yeah, this is fine. Okay, we're plus 6 million energy. And, okay, we can rebuild the Hyperloop tank. Let's make a save here called Stable Checkpoint. Because we are stable at this point, so let's make a checkpoint. And let's see what happens. You know, I won't make you guys wait. Let's go on fast. I don't want to be too fast though, because 1 month might be literally the entire thing our economy can take, right? Like obviously we could just continuously grow. You know what is a good idea? Is okay. Wait, pause. Let's adjust this by allowing like one roboticist. What's the lowest amount? 40, right? This way, we can very carefully check the exact month at which our economy breaks. So 3.3 million, nothing wrong there, right? Our energy credits are still positive, and I'm curious when these will overflow. Like, is it 10 million? Is it whatever? Like, okay, 7 million energy credits, we're still good. Um, and is that a disaster? No, not a disaster yet. I'm so scared. Like, I'm so scared. Like, oh, we're making negative unity now. So that's, oh, and there we go. Uh, so it was one tick before this. So let's go load from our stable checkpoint, load game. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. But like it's so stupid, but it is not, it's still funny. So all right, let's go ahead and change this back to the minimum number of robots. Is there a way you can get a lower amount, or is 40 the literal minimum? I think 40 is the literal minimum, right? So let's go ahead and speed up until the Hyperloop basin is done and wait a few turns. What was it, like 3 months? So 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. Let's pause it there. I believe that's about as good as we can do. Let's go ahead and now disable this. Disable all assembly on our planet, as you know, we don't need to find the exact maximum zone. 23 million tech, guys. 100 million would be such a nice number. I know how to do that. I know how to do that. State Academy. Let's try one more State Academy, see if our economy can support that, or not. Let's also get rid of this for a commercial nexus. Make sure we have no roboticists, as that is the most dangerous job right now. 144,000 telepaths. You love to see it. 3.5 million pops. Empire size, 5 digits. 5-digit empire size on a tier 10 ascended planet is funny. Um, amazing. Amazing. Our technology, everything is 1 month, as you can imagine. Let's just go ahead and speed this up as well, because there's nothing dangerous going on right now, right? These numbers are still fluctuating from what? I have no pop assembly. I guess there's migration, right? Like migration can't make anything go infinite, and yeah, we don't really have the consumer goods for that. But if we're dedicated, we could buy enough. So, what is that? 268,000? I'm not dedicated enough. Disable. I thought about that for a second, and I'm like, no thanks. I don't want to click that like 20 times. So yeah, it's either plus 4 million or negative a few hundred thousand. Negative a few hundred, it feels like you could make the difference up. It's close, right? It's close. Maybe, right? Replace this with some more. You know, I'm gonna configure this a bit and see exactly what we can get to, because I think it would be funny, right? So let me cut for a bit and do some adjustments. Well, even with everything else maxed out, I've also realized now that these buildings are completely pointless, right? Like these would be better off as something else because the amount of telepaths they provide is 0 compared to the amount of telepaths I have. So I'm going to replace the Shroud buildings with more galactic commerce hubs and just see what happens. All right, everyone. It looks like no matter how hard I try, um, 2 levels of State Academy is too much, and down 1 level is just enough to be sustainable. So I guess this is where this build ends. Um, 30 million tech is ridiculous. I love it. Also, I would say that you can also do this build on a planet of literally any size, right? It is very nice to have a larger planet, and it definitely gets things rolling faster. Uh, or slower, I guess, because it takes so long to build up. But you don't need a large planet to do this on. I think in theory you could get this going on a size 5 planet, like um, just to test. All right, we're gonna turn this planet into a size 5, and I think it still should be completely stable. And we're just gonna remember what final size do we get this to in the real video. Size 58, basically legit. So let's go ahead and now do. I think it's planet size 5, right? And this planet still should be fully stable, I would imagine. So yeah, you can really do this on any size planet. As you can see, our numbers didn't change for some reason; they went up. But at this point, this is just a rounding error, right? So the large planet was cool, I would say. For the look of the video, we also lost like 56,000 traders. But I would say at this point, the traders are probably like 0% of the output of this thing. Okay, they're actually still a decent amount, right? But they're just like a rounding error compared to everything else still. So, in fact, they're just going to drop into civilians, and that's going to make the planet even more efficient, which is pretty funny, right? So, um, this build is honestly even better with a small planet. I just really wanted to put it on a size 70 because I thought it would be a really fun idea. But anyhow, That is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, um, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.